We all gas, no brakes, pumped up, no fakes. We spinning, we winning, we high stakes. We never miss, we all makes. Look at us dudes trying to prove, bringing you news with nothing to lose. Mike, Nick, Tony, Wayne, Method Man, we bring the pain. Hey, see, I'ma confess it. We under the pressure. If you looking to find us, we them nothing but Niners. Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing but Niners. We nothing but we them nothing but Niners.
Yeah, click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? The Nothing But Niners crew is back, and we are here to bring you guys another fun-filled show. This one right here was born out of nothing, man. This one right here, this episode right here is the Phoenix. It came from the ashes, man. This all started from a tweet from Chris Biederman, and he's not even on here to defend himself. This is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy.
I'm defending him. I'm riding with my dog Chris Biederman.
All right, you're gonna be wrong, bro. But listen, before we get to anything, we're not gonna go through the formalities and nothing like that. What we want to do is this, because I know people are on limited time and everything. First of all, I want to thank everybody that's here. We got a lot of phenomenal 49er pages represented here. You guys know Nick. All right, you guys know Breezy. We're gonna sit back. We're gonna shut up. We're gonna start with Eric, and we're gonna go around in order. You guys can see the screen. After E, we're gonna go to Smitty. We're gonna go to Javi. Guys, tell everybody where you from, what site you represent, and everything, and let them know where to follow you guys. We're gonna start by sharing some love first, okay? So we're gonna take advantage of our platform, and we're gonna give back to the community. Let's start there. Eric, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
Eric Crocker. Follow me on Twitter at Eric_Crocker. Also follow the Crocker Report on Twitter, crockerreport.com. Patreon. So I got my Patreon account. That's patreon.com/croctalk. And my YouTube that I just got. So make sure you guys please subscribe. I've actually gone from 120 subscribers to over 1,300 in a week. So it's growing pretty quick. That's Croc Talk TV on YouTube. Make sure you guys subscribe. I appreciate that.
Smitty, you up?
Yeah, I'm Smitty.
Yes,
you can find everything that I have at smitty1.com. I've been in the fantasy industry for 19 years professionally. So I'm on one of the longest running fantasy football radio shows in the world on CBS Sports Radio. And you can find everything on smitty1.com, but I have a YouTube channel and I go live every Tuesday and Thursday, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern. So you can find me there. Eventually, that's going to be a Monday through Friday show, 3 hours a day. So just kicking it off on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
What's crazy is my man said he's been doing fantasy for 19 years professionally. Bro, I didn't know what the hell fantasy football was in 2002. So salute to you, man. That is the grind. That is love right there, man. Passion takes you a long way. Shout out to you, man. All right, I'm going to shut up. Go ahead. My man Javi is next.
Long time coming with y'all. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, everyone knows me, Javi, at JavierVeg _ Fourth and Goal Podcast, founder of 49ersgoldmine.com. Check out all the content over there. Thanks for having me.
Raj.
What's up? Raj Malwani, run our SF49ers on Instagram since 2013. I'm on Twitter. And then also made a YouTube. We're just launching it this week. I had it before, but just never got into it because it's been so busy. But me and Smitty, I've been on his show. We were doing a show last year, his fantasy show. So I kind of linked up with him a couple times. We do Friday night. We go and we kind of recap the NFL, 49ers, pretty much everything in between. But yeah, our SF49ers, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube.
He's bashful. He's got 129,000 followers on Instagram.
Nah, it's a good show over there, man. Good show. Always tuning in to you, man. It's great, good knowledge and things like that. So appreciate you hopping on here too. Mose, what's up, baby?
Yo, what's going on? NBN fan, what's going on with y'all? I see you, Breezy. I see you, Mike. It's good to be back. It's been a minute since I've been on the show, but it's good to be back with y'all. I'm Mose. I've been on here before, but I finally branched out, started my own independent channel. So you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at what.mose.knows. And you can find me on YouTube. I'm not specifically a 49ers channel. I'm doing everything NFL, but y'all know where my allegiance lies. Y'all know I bleed red and gold. That's what it is.
All right, guys. So listen, man, we got a lot to discuss here. And I think before we get to the debate, debates can be long. they can go off course real quick. So let's start with a little bit of structure here, and let's just get this out of the way. I want to go around the table. We can start with Nick, and we'll go to myself, and we'll go in the same exact order. Let's talk about who we think the team is going to take at 3, and then who we hope the team takes at 3. Let's just get that out the way. Nobody interrupt anybody. Let that person get their thoughts off, and then we'll go from there. And then we'll go ahead and get down to the nitty gritty. See what I did there, Breezy? I threw you a bone right there. You say, yeah, baby, I got you. All right. So we're going to go to Nick, who you think they're going to take, and then who you want them to take, if there's a difference.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the speculation out there is Trevor Lawrence going 1, Zach Wilson going 2, leaving up for grabs Justin Wilson, Mac Jones, and Trey Lance. I want to believe that the team is sold on Justin Fields. I really do want to believe that. I think that he is a next generational talent as well. He's not to be considered like all other flukes of quarterbacks who've come out of the Ohio State. I think he's a totally different athlete. Him and Trey Lance are kind of on the same level for me, as in being able to evolve this offense. I do and would hope that they're sold on Justin Fields. I'm not sure who they're going to take between those two. I'm going to say Justin Fields or Trey Lance, but I would hope that they get it right and they take the Ohio State quarterback in Justin Fields.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to piggyback on what Nick said. I hope that the pick is Justin Fields. The 49ers staff is much smarter than I am. This is what they get paid to do. I can't imagine giving up so much to move from 12 to 3 to go out there and get somebody that might be marginally better than Jimmy Garoppolo. So all those people out there saying that they think it's Mac Jones, I don't think that the haul that they gave up is equivalent to what you expect the ceiling to be for the next guy if it's Mac Jones. So I'm going to say that I think it's also the same person that I hope, and that is going to be Justin Fields. Breezy, it's yours.
We're hearing Mac Jones' name for a reason, right? And so I think that we're hearing his name for a reason because I think they're thinking about drafting Mac Jones on Thursday. I'm hoping that they draft Trey Lance out of North Dakota. I'm a big supporter of Trey Lance, man, and I just love the fact that the kid can do some things right now, lining up under that center and playing in that pro style offense. And he's also that dual threat guy. And so I'll keep saying it, like I've said it 150,000 billion times. After Kyle Lance got his ass whipped by Josh Allen on Monday Night Football, he knew exactly what type of quarterback he wanted. And so I'm hoping it's that type of quarterback in Trey Lance.
All right, E, the floor is yours, man. Who you think and who you want?
Yeah, so who I want, 2 different guys. I think it's Trey Lance. When you start looking at just kind of what he brings from the standpoint of playing under center, being able to call plays in the huddle, being able to spit out long plays, understanding how to call line protections and assignments and things like that. That's part of a big learning curve with rookie quarterbacks. He already understands those things. I think the part that's probably going to be really intriguing, aside from the athleticism, the big arm, those type of things. Obviously, there are some concerns with accuracy and whatnot. But when you find out the type of person he is, I think that's the most important thing to try to figure out. Can this guy get better moving forward? Played at 19 years old. Obviously, has certain ups and downs, but led a team undefeated, winning a national title on the FCS level. And then you look at just his relentless work ethic off of the field. I think that's going to be enticing to any program. His quarterback trainer, Quincy Avery, says he's like the smartest quarterback he's ever been around. I think a lot of those things is going to help with the projection from Kyle Shanahan and what he can be. And I think that's part of the reason why Kyle Shanahan said, we really expect Jimmy Garoppolo to be here, be the starter. We want him to be here. And I think that's because they have a succession plan with Trey Lance. Now, what I want is Justin Fields because he's the best quarterback in this class to me, or the most talented quarterback. And that's including Trevor Lawrence. I've been saying that. I don't think that there's anything I don't think there's anything that any other quarterback can do in this class that Justin Fields can. There's not one thing that somebody else can do that he can't do. I think a lot of people are overthinking it. I compared it to the DK Metcalf situation where it was clear that this dude was a beast. He was a baller. He was explosive. He was all these things, and people overthought it for whatever reason, started nitpicking him. Obviously, we see now DK Metcalf, baller. Justin Fields, same thing. I think Justin Fields is going to be a baller in the league. Don't let him go to a team like Carolina. I think he'd kill it there. Hopefully 49ers don't make a mistake and pass on him.
Smitty, you up, bro? Smitty, you there? You're on mute. Take yourself off mute.
Yeah, my audio's been acting up, so sorry if you hear an echo. Let me know.
You're good.
Honestly, who I want and who I think they'll take are two different things as well. Because who I want is Wilson. I want Zach Wilson to step in and be able to just command this offense and all the weapons. I think Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence are a level above the other three quarterbacks. So for me, I want it to be Wilson. I do believe it will be Trey Lance. I think the Niners can't get this wrong. Shanahan can't get this wrong. We're gonna dig into that in a second. I'm sure that Lance gives, I think, the best opportunity to weather through the storm as this quarterback learns and absorbs this offense. That dual threat that everybody's talking about makes it so this feels like almost a bulletproof pick, at least to be efficient. I think Fields, in my opinion, has a little bit more bust factor. I think Lance has every bit the pocket presence and ability to throw the football, the cannon, but to be able to actually design plays, a new avenue of production for Shanahan, I think is going to be intriguing, and it's going to feel very safe to Shanahan on draft day.
All right, Javi, man, let's hear from you, man. Listen, Javi, man, you got people holding on to the edge of their seats because you the guy, man. They want to know what you think, man. What you think and what do you want?
I think it's going to be Justin Fields. I hope it's Justin Fields. I go back to Kyle Shanahan and his QB collective days, 2017, working with Justin Fields. All his other coaches working with Justin Fields over the summer. The John Beck connection. Why is Justin Fields and Trey Lance working with John Beck and Mac isn't? Kyle Shanahan specifically said in his press conference, we're comfortable with three guys. And to me, those three guys were Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and Justin Fields. And then you asked John Beck to go see Trey Lance, or you asked Trey Lance to go see John Beck roughly a month ago to get started to see where he's at in a development standpoint. With Justin Fields, I start to pay attention to people around Kyle Shanahan, Brian Baldinger, Mike Silver, guys who ran that QB collective, all those other coaches who speak about Justin Fields and what Kyle Shanahan is looking for in a quarterback. And Kyle's been telling us, he wants the biggest, fastest, strongest guy if he could build it. And that the guy who fits that mold is Justin Fields. He's the guy who's most ready to go. And to be quite honest, there's nothing that Justin Fields there's nothing that Jimmy Garoppolo can do. There's nothing that Jimmy Garoppolo does that Justin Fields can't. So that's your automatic replacement. That is your week one starter. For folks out there who want to be in my mentions, like, oh, you're a Jimmy hater. I'm not a Jimmy hater. I'm a realist. You turn on the tape. There's nothing that any of these rookie quarterbacks do. There's nothing that Jimmy Garoppolo does that any of these quarterbacks can't do. And that's just the simple facts of it. That's just the way it is. But for me, it's Justin Fields all the way through. There's like, we did a roundtable with Croc a few months ago. I called the trade. Like, I called it. There's a reason I called it. Somebody told me about it. For the folks who said the Niners don't leak, someone told me that trade was coming, and it happened. And the person who said that also said it would be Justin Fields. So I'm gonna stick with my source and what he said. So Justin Fields for me.
All right, we're going to give the floor now to my man, the IG God himself. All right, go ahead, man. The floor is yours, bro. Talk your talk,
what's up?
baby.
So you know what? Honestly, Javi hit it right on the head, man. Copy paste what he said. The QB collective is to me what is selling it. Like, Shanahan's traditionally has brought in people over his time that he's had connection with. Pierre Garçon, Alex Mack, Trent Williams. Look at the players he's brought in. He's had some type of connection with them, right? Justin Fields, he's had the connection with the QB collective, and it just feels like that's the guy. Like he said, he wants the biggest, most elite quarterback. They asked him, do you have a prototype? And he looked at it and he said, no, man, I don't have a prototype. That's not what I'm bringing in. He wants someone that can navigate the pocket. He wants someone that can stretch the play, use his legs. And this guy, Justin Fields, he can make this offense even better. Like, yeah, we've seen limitations in the offense. You got a guy like Justin Fields. I don't even think we've seen the 100%. We haven't even scratched the surface on what Shanahan's offense could do. You get this guy, Justin Fields. And again, the character, the heart, all that kind of stuff that Croc talked about with Trey Lance and the smarts. I think Justin Fields has that too. He's a good character guy. He stuck up to the Big Ten last season and said, hey, look, we want to play football. That's something big that not a lot of people are talking about. He gets a lot of negative press, but you got to look at this guy. That Clemson game in the Sugar Bowl, like that game, 6 incompletions, 6 touchdowns, like that right there, that game speaks volumes. He got cracked in the ribs. He came back and he balled out. That's the type of guy you want leading this offense, a guy with heart. And Lynch and Shanahan, they look at that stuff. They value that things. And I think that Justin Fields, I think, is the guy that they're going to take. And I hope that's the guy that they're going to take. I would love to have Justin Fields, leading my team for years to come. This guy's got a lot of good, strong work ethic. He's got the talent. If you watch the film, this guy does it all, man. He can make those reads. And it's funny when they were talking about he was just a one-read quarterback, but he proved the tape proves it wrong. And again, this guy does so much that in this offense with Mostert, Kittle, Debo, Ayuk. Just imagine the possibilities with this guy. To me, he's Russell Wilson 2.0. You add that type of talent, if he reaches that ceiling, the sky's the limit for this offense. So I'm hoping it's Justin Fields, and I think it is.
All right, I'll pull up the rear. I think right now I'm thinking it's going to be Trey Lance. A lot of the reports coming out, could be smoke screens, but you have the reports saying that, Kyle requested that he worked with John Beck. You also have the reports that they met with Trey Lance's family, his parents. They kind of wanted to get to know him a little better as a person. So all of those things can make you, believe that it would be Trey Lance. Personally, I want to go with Justin Fields, echoing the same sentiments that everybody else mentioned as well. No need to, rehash those. But I mean, the one thing that I can say is he beat Trevor Lawrence on every level. He beat Trevor Lawrence in the Elite 11 competition. He beat him in college, as we just mentioned with, the championship game. So I think it'll be Trey Lance, but I hope that it's Justin Fields.
All right, now we're going to get down to the nitty gritty here. Again, no pun intended, but there's a clicking noise that is happening and it's driving people in the chat crazy. So I don't know if someone's typing or not, but let's try to cut that down just because there's so many people on right now. Guys, this is the debate that we're having right now. People are saying that Kyle Shanahan messed up by not drafting Mahomes or Watson in 2017 and banking on Kirk Cousins coming to the system. This is going to be a point of contention because people are judging Kyle Shanahan. Now, Javi, you put some interesting information in the chat prior to us kicking the thing off, and you have quarterbacks that Kyle Shanahan is directly related to. Okay, so I want you to give us those players, and then we're going to talk about this as a panel because, listen, I think it's fair to say Kyle Shanahan has a type. And he's going to have to get outside of his comfort zone if he wants to take this team and his offense to the next level. We just lost somebody. What happened?
Yeah, Mose. I think he fell out. It's all right.
Okay. All right. So no. All right. So Mose dipped out.
He said he'll be right back. He's checking his connection for his mic.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm not looking at the chat, so I apologize about that. So let's go ahead and break this down. Javi, you give us the people that Kyle Shanahan is directly linked to as far as quarterbacks go, so we can try to find out his type, because this is something that I've been saying on shows here on Nothing But Niners, that Kyle Shanahan has basically inherited quarterbacks everywhere he's gone, except for what has happened here. So you have a list here. I think it's a very interesting list. Let's go ahead and break that down, and then let's try to figure out whether or not Kyle Shanahan has a type of quarterback and if he can get outside of his comfort zone.
Yeah, I agree with you that he's inherited a lot of his quarterbacks. So let's look at it. My thing is, I don't understand why Kyle gets so much flack for these quarterbacks, because anyone else around the league, when's the last time a quality control coach was responsible for a quarterback selection, right? So in 2004, he's an offensive quality control coach in Tampa, and he has Brian Greasy as a quarterback. In Houston, he's a wide receiver coach in 2006, so that's David Carr. In 2007, becomes a quarterback coach, that's Matt Schaub. And then between 2008 and 2009, he's the offensive coordinator for Matt Schaub. His tenure in Washington, Donovan McNabb, obviously he's the OC, McNabb, RG3 Cousins, and John Beck. You have two semi-mobile quarterbacks. McNabb, at the end of his career, we all know McNabb had a really good career in Philadelphia, but by the end of it, it was over. 2014, he goes to Cleveland. Brian Hoyer's there. They're playing really well. He told the front office not to take Johnny Manziel. He wanted Derek Carr or Jimmy Garoppolo in that second round over Manziel. 2015 to 2017, he had Matt Ryan in Atlanta, so he inherited all these quarterbacks. So he's not responsible for any of them. San Francisco is where he's responsible for the quarterbacks. Brian Hoyer, CJ Beathard, Jimmy Garoppolo, Nick Mullins. Now, Kyle's admitted to wanting Cousins. That was his plan. He put it out there in most recent press conference. So does Kyle Shanahan have a type? I don't think so. I just think he just wants a guy who's an extension of him on the field. So that's where Kirk Cousins, I think the love for Kirk Cousins and the brain that Kirk Cousins has in an offense is what Kyle likes so much about him. You know, Kyle says it. He's like, you know, what did he say? I want the biggest, fastest, strongest quarterback, but you'd be lucky to have a guy like Kirk Cousins. Why? Because Kirk Cousins can execute the offense at a fairly high level. And that's kind of what they're looking for. But if they could, they're looking for that Josh Allen. They're looking for that Patrick Mahomes. They're looking for, you know, I wouldn't say Lamar Jackson type, but if they could, you know, look at McNabb or something like that, a player like that, or a Dak Prescott, that's what they would do.
You know what's interesting about that breakdown you just gave us is that the first time we heard Kyle Shanahan was responsible for the result from a quarterback was his years with Matt Schaub. And I didn't say responsible for the quarterback. I said responsible for the result. And correct me if I'm wrong, Tony, we haven't heard from you yet. I'll give this question to you, and then we'll go back around in a circle. But wasn't Matt Schaub a Pro Bowler in those years that Kyle Shanahan was responsible for the results of what that quarterback could do?
I believe he was a Pro Bowl that one year with Andre Johnson and Arian Foster. Yeah, I'm about 95% sure he was a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, 2009 he was a Pro Bowler. 2009 was Pro Bowl year. He was 4,700 yards, 29 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. That was Matt Schaub's stat line that year.
So with that being said, that's the first time we see Kyle directly linked to a quarterback and their results. So he's working with whatever is given to him. It's hard to sit here and say that he has a type. But the tweet that's at hand, the question, the debate, all right? Now, we're going to try to do this in order. We're going to start with Nick. I'm going to shut up. We're going to go with Nick, Breezy, Trap, Smitty, Javi. All right, we're going to go around in that order, okay? And what we're going to do is, the people are saying that they should have drafted Mahomes. They should have drafted Watson, and instead he had this other plan, okay? And this is what we were getting into, Eric, on IG. And as he walks away, that's cool. What we were getting into on IG was that Kyle Shanahan had a plan for the future. He wasn't a prisoner of the moment. It's easy to say, oh, we don't have a quarterback. We got to get a guy right now. But instead, he chose to bolster the defense. This is my opinion. He chose to bolster the defense and say, hey, give me somebody. I'll work with him. I'll make miracles happen. Okay. He took mayo and tuna fish and decided that he was going to make a meal out of it. That's the way I see it. Okay. I could be wrong, but I want to get everybody else's opinion on this. Do you guys think that Kyle Shanahan was wrong for not going after Patrick Mahomes? We've heard the story now over and over that John Lynch went to Patrick Mahomes' pro day and said, hey, yo, this is the guy right here. And he said, nah, chill. Don't do that. Don't do that because we can get Kirk. I don't know if that's true, but we're going to, for the sake of argument, let's just say that's true. He said, don't worry about that. We can get Kirk after the season's over. Let's see what the players are that we have. Let's assess the team and then move forward from there. So, Nick, do you think Kyle was wrong for not going after Mahomes and going after Watson and saying that we can get somebody later on that can definitely run this offense because he knows the system?
Yeah, 100%. He's 100% wrong. If you see a generational talent and you think that guy is going to pan out, you don't pass on them, especially at the quarterback position. The 49ers have done this for years now. They've passed over talent for something else. And where has it led them? Like, yes, we can sit here and say Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't even Kyle Shanahan's guy, technically, right? Because people will say, oh, he wanted him, and then people will say, oh, he didn't want him. I personally don't know what the true factor in that is. Me, if I'm going up there and I have guys telling me that Patrick Mahomes is going to be legit, if this is true, we're basing this off of being true, if that Patrick Mahomes is going to be legit, where do you build your team around? Your offense. You build your offense around a quarterback. That's the way you should build a team. You shouldn't build the outside and bring in somebody that will be doable, I guess you could say. You want that next generational talent. So, yes, in my opinion, if he's passing over these guys intentionally for guys who aren't even on the market yet, don't even know if you can trade for, in Kirk Cousins, then yes, you're 100% wrong. Breezy.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one because when you look at what we did build, we built a defense, and we almost won a Super Bowl without that generational talent. And we're in the position now to get the generational talent. So I can't say that he's 100% wrong.
But this is years later, though. This is a year later.
And you also don't know what Patrick Mahomes would have done in San Francisco, and you don't know what Deshaun Watson would have done in San Francisco, despite how great their collegiate careers were. We drafted Alex Smith because he was great in college, and then he came to San Francisco, and we had a shitty team, and he sucked because we had 5,000 different offensive coordinators and 75 coaches and things like that. And so I do understand what you're saying as far as getting that talented quarterback, but I can't say that he was 100% wrong banking on things happening in the future. It's kind of like how we live our lives, right? We kind of we live for today and tomorrow. So it's like we're planning ahead. It's like having a savings account, having some money in the damn bank. And so I think that's kind of what Kyle Shanahan was doing. Like, hey, we're gonna try to build our team. We're gonna get this. If I can get a guy like a Matt Schaub that's cerebral enough to come in here with a little bit of athleticism and run an offense that I know is smart, then hey, we can win. And so that's what he was doing. And we did that. It's just that unfortunately Jimmy Garoppolo is just fragile and he belongs in a bubble. And so now we're in this situation where I feel like Kyle has the hand to go ahead and do it. And so now Kyle has to make that right pick, because now we're going to understand and we're going to see what Kyle Shanahan could do, according to Javi, that he's never done. We're going to see what he could do other than Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard. Those aren't first-round picks, generational talents. Now we're going to see what Kyle Shanahan could do with generational talent. So, no, I don't think he was wrong.
Nah, he was wrong. First of all, and this is where he's wrong. I think they've kind of maybe learned, at least from the standpoint of doing their due diligence, which it looks like they're doing a lot of that now. But when you have your GM come back to you, okay, I'm supposed to be here at this pro day as a smokescreen, and he walks away from that saying, God damn, that Patrick Mahomes kid, that was different, right? So your guy sees it and calls you and tells you about it, and you don't, at the very least, do more due diligence and look into that situation, then that's on you. And I feel like, you know what I'm saying? Because what if you ended up watching it and going back and watching the Patrick Mahomes film and being like, damn, maybe there is something there, right? But he never even entertained it. So I think from that standpoint, he is wrong, because he never even gave himself a chance to be able to get Patrick Mahomes or a guy like that.
Or because of the reason he was so sold on somebody that he couldn't get at that point.
And somebody that he just did not get. So now you didn't look into this and you didn't get him. And then the other guy, because, I mean, even if the 49ers would have waited to after a year and then trade for Garoppolo, I mean, the Washington football team, they franchise tagged Cousins like 2 more times. So there's no certainty that you'd have even been able to get him at that point. But I just think you kind of handicap yourself not doing more and looking into the situation after your GM went and told you to look into that situation. So I think from that standpoint, like, yeah, he's wrong. I think this was kind of like, there are a few different questions in there. The other question was, does he have a type? And in my opinion, yes, he has had a type, right? Like, there's something very, very specific that he's looking for, whether it's like, okay, I just want somebody that's like tough, clean in the pocket, gets the ball out of his hands, accurate, and makes throws at different levels, right? Now, I do think he is trying to move off of that. Like, he sees how he got his ass kicked by certain quarterbacks. He sees the struggles that his defense has, at least preparing for guys like Kyler Murray, guys like, Russell Wilson. And you see, like, guys with all this, there's more talent in what it looks like. Josh Allen, you see what it looks like, right? So now this is the issue. Any of us, right? Like, say a female, let's use a female or a woman for an example. You can tell a woman, hey, this guy is bad for you. And she can get done wrong several times and know that this guy is bad for her. And she can tell herself, man, I know this guy is bad for me. So I'm gonna try to find a new man that's the opposite. And you see more times than not, women struggle to get with the guy because they're just not attracted to that. And I think that's where he is right now. He knows, like, man, I can do so much with a Justin Fields. I can do so much with these guys, but we're going to find out Thursday if he actually ends up doing it, or does he kind of get cold feet and revert back to the guys who are actually kind of getting phased out. You look at situations like the Rams, Jared Goff, for whatever, nobody has more wins over the last 4 years than Jared Goff. He wins a ton of games, right? But he has his limitations. Jimmy Garoppolo, when he's playing, he's really good. But even then, you can see clearly his limitations, right? But that's the kind of guy Kyle has been drawn to and likes. So we're going to see Thursday if he's able to move off of that, like the woman, like Sierra, right? Sierra went from Bow Wow to 50 Cent to Future, right? Then she moved off of that and got Russell Wilson, and she's living happily ever after. Is Kyle going to move off of what he typically likes and kind of scales back a little bit and just says, you know what, I'm going to be good with this and I'm going to make this work? If he does, I think that really helps him moving forward. If he doesn't, we're just going to have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I got to say, I feel, and this is what I said in the beginning, is that this is a different avenue that they're going to go down because what they've been doing hasn't been working. His type has been a mediocre quarterback. And let's be honest, okay, it hasn't gone well. The scouting hasn't gone well. But what the Niners do brilliantly is scout at other positions, find George Kittles. This team's set up. So kind of what Breezy was saying, you know, is it going to be a mistake in the end? Maybe not, because you built such a good foundation anyway, that if you do get and land this quarterback, you're going to have something that's bigger and better than potentially you would have before. We don't know. We'll have to see it play out. But Shanahan has to land this pick. He has to. The pressure is on him. This is it. This will tell the story from now on about where this guy's going. Is he on the hot seat if this doesn't work out? I mean, I don't know what you guys think about that, but I think he would be 100%. And I think that the safest route is Lance, because it's a safeguard. It's his ability to run the football, get 60 yards at a touchdown on the ground per game as they walk him through the offense, and he learns it and gets versed in it. Lance is every bit, in my opinion, as ready as Fields on day one. I don't agree with everybody that says he's a project. The guy had 28 passing touchdowns, 0 INTs. He picks up and runs too much. How? If he has 0 INTs, how is he making bad decisions in the pocket, picking up and running too much? The dude's electric, and I think you put him in this offense.
Just a little pushback on that.
Real quick, last thing is I think you win more games with Trey Lance starting week 1, preparing the whole offseason, than you do starting Jimmy G in week 1, him getting hurt midseason, and you have to make this transition midseason.
No,
I truly believe that.
That's not. I mean, that's fine. I mean, I think you can win games with Trey Lance, but you're gonna have the growing pains with Trey Lance. When you talk about his 28-0 interceptions, if you go back and watch the tape, there's like 15 of those that should have been picked off.
Let's go.
15.
Well, we could play that game though.
What I'm saying to you is
any quarterback. We could play that game.
Extreme 15.
Well, you can't play that game if you're not going to play it with everybody else. What it feels like, you know what I mean?
I did it with everybody else. But what I'm saying to you is I don't think he's as pro ready as everyone makes him out to be. Do I think he's going to be a successful quarterback? Yes. Is he going to be successful with Kyle Shanahan? Yes. That's each quarterback has to go to the right system, right? So, you know, with Lance, you know, if he goes to San Francisco, cool. Kyle dials up layups all the time. So that'll be somewhere he can raise his completion percentage and things like that and not put the ball in harm's way. Zach Wilson had a whole bunch of passes that should have been picked off, a ton of them. So it's not just Lance. It's just the whole thing of the 28-0. You go back, there's a lot of those guys who just had they just dropped the ball, right? You know what I mean? There should have been a couple more picks in their it's more like 8, not 15. But
if
the point is they're there.
Jimmy gets hurt midseason, then you got this transition midseason instead of getting Lance ready now.
But that doesn't matter because you're getting Lance ready regardless. So listen, I know Rod is the shortest on time, so I'm not trying to cut anybody off. I promise I'm not trying to cut anybody off. But here's the thing, right? To piggyback on what Javi was saying, right? You look at just the NFC, not the NFC Championship game, the game before that, the divisional game against the Vikings, right? Jimmy only threw that pick to the tight end, to the linebacker, but there were 2 other ones that were dropped by him, right? You have to hold that against those guys. And so the same way that counts against Jimmy, The same way that they said, hey, you know what? Let's take the ball out of his hands after he finally completed the interception. You got to hold that against Lance. Okay, I didn't get 15. I saw 7.
You got to hold that against everybody though, because all quarterbacks throw.
Yeah.
Right, and so
I just did. I said that with every. I said it.
Patrick Mahomes
You
had
can't play
19.
that game, in my opinion.
Patrick Mahomes had 19 dropped interceptions last year.
Right, so you hold it against everybody. So we could just throw that out.
No.
Like,
It's a hard stat to hold anybody.
No. But here's the difference. You don't throw it out because a level of competition that he was playing against is different. You cannot throw that out.
That's fine, Mike. That's fine. But he just told you that an MVP in the NFL had 19 dropped interceptions, and no one's talking about it because he's not a 49er. Like, you know,
everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking. That's why people are saying that Mahomes is overrated. Everybody's talking about it. But what I'm saying is
nobody's talking about it.
What I'm saying is this. Okay, you have to look at what was not intercepted. You have to look at what was not intercepted, and you also have to look at the level of competition. He wasn't playing against the big dogs. He was not playing against the guys that are going to be drafted in the first 3 rounds of the NFL. He wasn't playing against those guys on a regular basis. So I'm going to shut up really quick because I don't want Roger.
But let me respond to that, Mike. Because he might not be playing with them. Against them, but he's also not playing with them. So it kind of evens out the playing field. It's not like he goes to LSU and he's playing against Alabama, like, you know what I'm saying? And is, you know, or he goes to LSU, or he goes to BYU and he's playing against North Texas. You know what I'm saying?
Lack of weapons too. Lack of weapons.
I mean, the playing field was very even when it comes to who he was playing. Now, North Dakota State, they are the big dogs in the FCS. They are the big dogs. But he's playing against good competition, incomparable to who he's playing with. The playing field was very level. It was for who he's playing with and against.
That's not how it works. What are you talking? Come on, E. I know you know better, bro. That's not how it works, man. You can't sit here and say that the level of competition was the same. It's not.
I didn't say that.
He's saying that the playing field is the same.
No,
right?
It's
like it's
subjective. It's subjective. Right. So each level, you know, Zach Wilson got shit on all season because of his competition, but he was also guilty of throwing a whole bunch of balls that should have been intercepted. You know what I'm saying? That, again, it just applies to everybody. Justin Fields did it. Trey Lance did it. Zach Wilson, like, they all have done it. That's my point. Like, that's why I kind of have a little bit of kickback with Zach Wilson, a little bit of kickback with Fields. Even Mac had some stupid plays. Like, it's just, they're all there, you know. But the guys who would be most, to me, the guys who would be most successful with Kyle are the athletes. And I think when you look at Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers over the last couple of years of drafting, when they go with this, you know, really good guy, low ceiling, Mike McGlinchey, Solomon Thomas, those types, those guys aren't what they need to be. When they go with high trade athletes, Nick Bosa, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuels, Fred Warner, George Kittle, those guys are successful. Go with the traits guy. Go find yourself a guy with traits. Trey Lance, Justin Fields have traits. Zach Wilson has traits. Trevor Lawrence has traits. What is McCorkle's best attribute? He's accurate.
He called him McCorkle. See,
look, his mama called McCorkle. I'm gonna call him McCorkle.
But that's his name.
Yeah, but when it comes to the Niners and the way they've been successful is when they go ahead and get a guy with traits, those guys pan out for them. When they go with this nonsense with Solly, God bless him, you know, but he is so stiff. He was stiff in college. He was going to be stiff as a pro. Mike McGlinchey, he's 6'8", you know, 175 pounds playing right tackle. Like, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? Come on. Right, Trent Taylor, like, God bless him as well. Like, he wasn't a traits guy. Cool, he can move. He had a really good 3-cone. Like, that's not how it's gonna work. You gotta go with guys with high upside, guys with traits. Kyle Shanahan, and I don't buy the whole this offense is super difficult. Kyle Shanahan has been running the light version of his offense for the last 4 seasons.
Yes, sir.
There is nothing Justin Fields, Trey Lance can't come in and do day one with an offseason. We just watched Justin Herbert throw 30 touchdowns on a team that wasn't as good with a bad coach. You put Justin Herbert on the Niners, they're winning 10, 11 games, and they're in the playoffs.
I do think we kind of downplaying how good Mac Jones is a little bit, though. I think we kind of downplaying Mac Jones. Like, Mac Jones is good.
He's okay.
No. Wait.
He's okay.
I think what Javi was saying is he lacks just those physical traits.
Yeah, the traits aren't there.
The physical ones.
Yeah,
but people did. You got to see how people win. Everybody wins different, and you have to figure out how that person wins, how that fits with what you want to do. So there is a clear way that Mac Jones wins. Like that is there.
I agree. What happens? What? Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
No, I just want to ask you and Nick if y'all see that $14.99 contribution.
I'll
I can't pull it up.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Okay.
You got, all right, just click it and get it on the screen. But go ahead, Breezy.
Here's
we'll
my
give it
thing
to
with
Rob.
that. And so what Javi is saying, and this is why I agree with Javi, and this is what I feel like the 49ers are missing at that quarterback position. When everything is not scripted and planned out and orchestrated right, when the play breaks down, when Mike McGlinchey lets the guy go right past him and there's a guy in the quarterback's face, what is McCorkle going to do when he's lacking those abilities? Like,
do you want me to answer? Like, you want my honest response?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I'll say this about him. And in that, like, in like a freaky situation, maybe he won't get away, but I'll say this. His feel in the pocket is the best in this class. Like, the way he moves away from the rush and kind of maneuvers and steps up to deliver passes, he does an amazing job of that. So I'm not, again, I want Fields, and I think Lance is the guy. But if they went Mac Jones, I do see a clear area where he can be successful. Now, can he do things, again, to take Kyle Shanahan's game over the top, and can he consistently make Kyle right when maybe Kyle's wrong on the play call? I don't know about that. But in the sense of how he can win, like he is good at what he does. His feet and pocket presence is legit. It's the best I've seen in college this year. I think when it comes to pure quarterback things, he does it the best.
Now this is
he just can't take you over the top, and I think he might be close to being maxed out with what he eventually is.
Yeah. So Croc, this is where I'm gonna push back on that one. He had great pocket presence at Alabama. We go to the week of practice at the Senior Bowl. That pocket presence was non-existent.
I hear you at Senior Bowl practice, but listen, Javi, I watched him against Michigan in 2018, that bowl game. He was under duress the entire game.
The Michigan game? I didn't. Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Under duress. When I say under duress, and I mean, he's moving, sliding, get the ball out. He's getting hit.
He's good in the pocket. That's the tennis.
Where he can run into some issues. Like, you can see sometimes if he can't really get his feet set all the way, and can he get that ball like out there, drive it down the field? No, that's not really his game. And there could be some limitations like what you see with Garoppolo. But just from an overall standpoint of like how Kyle can like visualize him being successful in his offense, like it is there. Like, I'm not gonna act like it ain't there. And again, that's not who I want, but we can't just drag him as if there's no like positives with him if he were the quarterback for the 49ers.
Yeah, the positives with Mac to me, like his pocket presence, he has really good accuracy. I don't know, I'm not there yet with him on the dots. There's those things like that, but if he would be successful in San Francisco. Like, yes, he would be successful in San Francisco.
All right, so let's just be clear here. Kyle Shanahan, damn it, Raj. Like, what's up? Like, every time I get ready to give it to Raj, he dips off.
I think it's his service. He keeps getting booted.
All right, so when he comes back, we're gonna give him the floor, and then we'll get to everybody else. I think he's back now. There he is. All right, so really quick, just to be clear here, I think everybody on this entire panel will agree that if Kyle Shanahan got his hands on any of these guys, they'll find a level of success. I don't think that's the question at all. But when you trade up, you're not looking for a level of success. You're looking for the level of success. You're looking for the guy, not a guy. So I want to get to the bottom row of the panel down here. Let's start with Raj, because I know he's on a time restraint. And then we're going to go to Mose, and then we're going to go to Tony. Just the question at hand right now is, do you think Kyle fucked up by not going for Mahomes/Watson and thinking long ball?
Yeah, so to go back to that original question you asked, it was a mistake. I mean, at the end of the day, that was their rookie draft. They made a mistake, and they took an L. People came at them. They came at their necks a lot for passing on Watson, passing on Mahomes, and rightfully so. You pass on talents like that, and I think Kyle really wanted, Kirk Cousins. He thought he was going to get him. I went back and I watched that first press conference with Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, and they said it. They said, we're going to make mistakes along the way, and I heard him when he was talking about quarterback, and he said so many different things, but he says, it's a hard process. We're going to strike out. We're going to get certain players, but I'm not looking for, a specific person. But he says, I want a guy that can be, take me to the next level. And I think they were really looking at Kirk Cousins. I think that was what I think that's what Kyle wanted. And his selfishness kind of, I think, got in the way. And hey, you know what? It is what it is.
You better get on him, Croc, like you did me, that McDonald's Wi-Fi. You better get on him.
That
He'll be
McDonald's
back.
Wi-Fi.
Hey,
His
somebody
name-
said it.
He'll be back.
Somebody
He gotta,
Real quick.
we gotta
Real
get
quick.
him to upgrade to Starbucks, man. They got the
Yeah, no, he'll be back.
The
He'll be
neighbors-
back.
So while we're on here doing this, Daniel Jeremiah just said at 9, Mac Jones is too high. Yet everyone around the league believes Mac Jones at 3 is the pick. Daniel Jeremiah just went on NFL Network and said 9 is too high for Mac Jones.
And everybody's also saying that if the Niners don't take Mac Jones, he might fall to the bottom of the first round. So that it is what it is. Now, I want to say this real quick.
Before the Niners traded up, you heard no talk about Mac Jones in the top 10.
Exactly.
Correct.
You did kind of hear him to the Panthers. I'm not
Can I-
gonna lie. I did see
can
him
I-
to the Panthers.
Can I defend
That's
the Mac
because of Matt
Jones?
Rule, right? Because he
at
had him at the
3,
Senior
though.
Bowl.
I'm not a Mac Jones truther here. I just want to defend him at 3. Everybody giving the Niners grief by saying you don't trade up to 3 to get Mac Jones. You don't trade up. They were anticipating a Mac Jones climb in value. And when you, and again, I'm not somebody that wants Mac Jones, but when you're a coach and you're trying to make decisions about, okay, he's our number 3 guy. No matter what, we got to go get our number 3 guy. Maybe they tried to get the 5 pick, the 4 pick, the 6 pick, but they couldn't. They're like, we either go get the 3 pick and we get our guy, Mac Jones. We anticipate his pro day, climbs his value. And it did. It did. Now he's being talked about in the top 6 overall. I just think it's ridiculous that everybody's so hard on them, or will be if they trade up to get Mac Jones at 3. That's my opinion on that.
So let's hear from Mosley and let's hear from Tony on if you think Kyle fucked up by not getting those guys and having a plan for the future. I want to get your guys' thoughts on that, and then we'll get back to it. I promise.
I mean, hindsight is 20/20, right? I think when you look at Patrick Mahomes, some people were high on him, others weren't. I don't think anybody thought that when Kansas City traded up when they did, that Patrick Mahomes was going to be the guy. Obviously, Watson was more highly touted. He won a national championship. Dabo Swinney called him, the Michael Jordan of his position and things of that nature. So, I mean, obviously you can say, yeah, they messed up looking back at it. I would like to say that it was Kyle's stubbornness. One thing that we know, Kyle is a stubborn head coach. He likes what he likes, and he doesn't want to get off of his ideas and his opinions. And maybe that played a little bit of it. So you can kind of go both ways. You can kind of say no, because hindsight is always 20/20, but looking at the type of players that they turned into. And if you look at it in particular with Deshaun Watson, what he was able to turn into in the crap show that is Houston, if he was with Kyle Shanahan, maybe we win that Super Bowl against Kansas City. So it can go either way.
I think yes, he's wrong, and no, he's not wrong. Because if you look at it, when they were hired and his team, then Kyle took over that team and he assembled his full staff. It was like a week or two before the Senior Bowl. All right, so I think they had a plan intact. So let's just not forget free agency comes before the draft process. So what did Kyle do? They went out and pulled all offensive players that had experience with Kyle to help him make his transition from his offense smoother than taking people who have no experience in it. I'm not sticking up for the guy, but I honestly think they had a plan in place, and that's what they did. They went out and brought in Brandon Hoyer. They went out and brought in Pierre Garçon to work with the receivers. They went out and brought in Logan Paulson, even though he's just a blocking tight end, but still it's somebody that knows that system. They brought in Juszczyk. So I think their plan going into the NFL draft, being that they brought those pieces in on offense, I think they wanted to build their defense. And let's not forget, Mitch Trubisky was the first quarterback off the board. So how many teams missed on those two guys and went with Trubisky? So first of all, the 49ers were playing the game with Chicago, fleeced them out of a couple extra picks to move up one spot. And then they took Solomon Thomas, who they played out of position because he was a 3 technique at Stanford, and they tried to make him a speed guy, the Leo, in the system under Saleh. So then they traded back up in round 1 and got a ferocious linebacker in Reuben Foster, but it didn't work out. It's a shame because I really thought he was very talented, but the off the field stuff just got in the way. So getting back to that, Trubisky was the first guy overall. I just feel that I forgot who said it, and all you guys made valid points, by the way, across the board. But the Chiefs jumped out of nowhere and came up and took Mahomes. Now, in my opinion, that was a perfect situation for Mahomes to go to.
Mm-hmm.
It was a match made in heaven. He had a cannon for an arm, and they had probably the fastest offense at the time in the NFL. So it's a great match. Speed around him, an aggressive downfield attacking play caller. So it really was a match. As far as Watson, I really can't say because I really didn't go into the quarterbacks because I knew who Kyle wanted. I think everybody knew who Kyle wanted, and that was Kirk Cousins. It didn't work out. Why? Because Jimmy Garoppolo was dropped in their laps by Bill Belichick on 3 hours before the trade deadline. I think it was on the 30th or Halloween of October. So do I think he's wrong for not taking the time, even after Lynch made a phone call saying, listen, I was here looking at somebody else, but this guy, maybe we should look. I think maybe it might have been too far into the process. It's not an excuse. I'm just trying to make like a reasoning out of it. I think maybe it went too far in the process. Their plan was set. They didn't go that route. Is it biting them in the ass right now? I think we could all say yes. But as far as this draft, I honestly feel like, they traded up to 3 for a reason. All right. They're not going to make that mistake like they did in 2017. They said the draft starts at 3. Lawrence is going 1, Wilson's going 2, we're going to 3, and we're going to pay what we need to pay, and we're going to find our quarterback of the future. We're going to do all the pro days. We're going to do all the bullshit. And, you got to give Kyle a little bit credit because he is a little sneaky son of a gun because he went to his guy, Beck, and said, go find out everything about this kid and tell me if you think he'll fit in my system. And that's what he did. So now they have the second pro day for both Fields and Lance. And, there's only a handful of people that know what is going on. And unfortunately, it's not us. I know Javi is on point majority of the time, but it's a tough thing. I hope it's either Lance or Fields, but, you got to trust Kyle. You got to trust him. And if he goes Mac Jones, I know we're not going to be happy, but
that's the debate, though. Do we trust him with this decision? That's why we jumped on here, right? Can you say that just blanket statement? You got to trust Kyle. I don't know. I mean, we need a double confirmation in place.
I don't think a lot of people in the media. I don't think it's going to be Mac Jones, and I don't know why the media is pushing Mac Jones so damn hard. It's kind of like really frustrating. I think it's going to come down to the 2 guys, Lance or Fields, because when you make this type of move and mortgage 2 first-rounders to go up plus a third, you want a guy that's going to add another dimension to your offense, not just a pocket passer. But if that play breaks down, you want a guy that's going to be like, okay, let me hold it to the last minute. I can't make that throw. I'm going. And, Mike Shanahan had his best success with mobile quarterbacks. Granted, not as mobile as these guys, but Steve Young made plays with his legs. John Elway made plays with his legs. And now, guess who's involved with this process, even though it's not reported? But, if you don't really read it between the lines, Mike Shanahan is probably heavily involved with this process with his son. And that's why I think they're bringing the mobile feature and the second dynamic into this offense.
So real quick, because I got to dip out here in a few minutes. But, yeah, Mike Shanahan's involved. Like they've admitted to that. Matt Mayoko had Mike Silver on his podcast this morning. Yes, Mike Shanahan was there at Fields Pro Day. He was there at Lance's Pro Day. I believe he was there at Max or Wilson's
Pro Day. He was
at
Mac Jones' first Pro Day.
Yeah, so he was there. So yes, Mike Shanahan is very much involved. The way he's been involved since Kyle Shanahan's been hired. Mike has been involved with game planning, draft prospect. Like he's very much involved in this entire process. He's like a pseudo GM for them or something, or just an extra OC for game planning. But when it comes to advisor. Like he's like the senior advisor. But when it comes to did Kyle Shanahan make a mistake? The answer, it's a yes and a no because you still got a Super Bowl out of it. You went to the Super Bowl. You won a whole bunch of games with Jimmy. But this is year 5, and you don't have a quarterback. When you could have had the guy originally. But it's okay. It's okay in hindsight, yes. But if they could do it over, yes, they were not taking Solomon Thomas. They're probably taking Watson. They're probably taking Mahomes. When it comes to Mahomes in Kansas City, Mahomes was highly regarded as a second-round pick. Veach had to convince Andy Reid to take Mahomes. That's the part people leave out all the time. It's on record. Veach had to convince Andy Reid that this was the best quarterback Veach has ever seen in his life.
We need that. That's how they sold it. This decision. We need Veach's help.
One of the best GMs in football. He's making it right. And Andy Reid has a long history of his success. You guys know I grew up in Pennsylvania, so I watched a lot of Eagles during that McNabb era. Andy Reid is a winner. He knows how to find talent, and he will find it. And if he needs, I don't think he needs that much convincing to find a guy. And he comes from the Bill Wall Street as well. So he's going to listen to his scouts. He's going to listen to other people and take other people's opinions. And I think this is where Kyle Shanahan has evolved as a head coach. You can't tell me that he hasn't evolved, because he watched Russell Wilson kick his ass. He's watched Kyler Murray give him a whole bunch of trouble. We watched Josh Allen just demolish us, and Patrick Mahomes beat you in the Super Bowl. Like, these 4 or 5 guys that give you trouble. Lamar Jackson gave him trouble in the rain. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys, there's no way Kyle's sitting there like, oh yeah, let me go get this guy who, yes, he moves well in the pocket, but if something breaks down, he's not going to give me anything else. Like, he's going to want that, and that's where it's at. And I think this is where I think I've said it. I think the QB Collective guys, they've said it though, and I think they're evolving as a group too. They've said it in their interview in 2017. They said the system makes the quarterback, not the quarterback makes the system. And I believe they're transitioning. I think they're transitioning to, wait a second, let's make the quarterback make our system, and we will adjust. That's what they need to be doing.
Now
he said that. I just saw the video where he said that, but it's like, okay, you can say it, but do you truly believe that? And are you willing to adjust? Like he said, like, you want to get a great quarterback and then you adjust your scheme to that guy. Are you willing to do that though? Because there's a guy there that you don't have to adjust what you do to him. So are you willing to bypass him to get somebody that does have a higher ceiling?
But the answer is yes with Kyle Shanahan, because we've seen him adjust the system for the 3 quarterbacks he had on the team last year. Now, forget any other year. Just look at last year. We saw him run out 3 different offenses for 3 different quarterbacks. Now, let me read this contribution from John V, not the one that's up here, the 1499 one. I can't post it, but I can read it. It says, can the panel say that Shanahan is fired for certain if the rookie starter fails? So what he's saying is, whoever we draft at 3, if this guy fails, it's Shanahan's day's number. He says, and how long does the rookie have to prove himself before Kyle and Lynch are both fired? So let's start this in reverse. We're gonna go with Tony, Mose, and then we'll go to Javi. We're gonna go backwards and end with Nick. So we're gonna start with Tony, and then we'll end with Nick.
I think Lynch should be fired first. I think Jed York is really fond of Kyle. He got him to a Super Bowl, like we all just said. And I just feel, being that he got an extension, 6-year deal, I don't feel he wants to start over again. And it would take a lot more than this to screw it up, even though this could be potentially devastating to this franchise if they don't nail this. But I just feel Jed has a connection with Kyle. And I think the odd man out would be Lynch.
I definitely agree with Tony on that. When I had a chance to jump on with Grant Cohn a couple of weeks ago, one of the things that I mentioned is I think Kyle's leash will be longer if the pick is Trey Lance or Justin Fields. I feel like his leash is shorter if it's Mac Jones. A lot of that is going to be because of public perception, because the fans don't want Mac Jones, because the fans will be livid if that's the pick. If Kyle goes with, like Croc said, if Kyle goes with the guy that he doesn't have to make any adjustment with, the guy that most fits his system and is ready right now, and that doesn't work, then I think maybe after 2 seasons, if we're seeing that this is failing, I think he could be out. Now, with what Tony said, that kind of makes sense. Maybe it's John instead of Kyle, and then his leash is shortened at that point. But I think if he takes Trey Lance or Justin Fields, I think his leash will be a little bit longer, and the fans will give not only that rookie quarterback, but Kyle more time for them to kind of gel and build that chemistry. So honestly, the answer to that question all depends on who the pick is at 3.
To answer the question, I think the seat gets hot for John Lynch. And I think part of that comes from what we heard from Mike Silver and Matt Mayoko today about who has control over the 90-man versus the 53-man. I think a lot of this stuff gets put out in a certain way just to have certain narratives pushed. Kyle hired John, and that would be like the scapegoat. Adam Peters gets an extension. Maybe that's the guy that's going to replace John Lynch. Those things come into play. I think I don't think anyone here wants any of the quarterbacks that come into San Francisco to fail. None of us do. So whoever it is, we want all the guys to be successful if they land here. If it's Mac Jones, I agree with most. The lease is shorter because you have Jimmy Garoppolo and you're going to get a marginally better Jimmy Garoppolo, and you gave up all that, right? Whereas if you have a guy like Justin Fields or Trey Lance. Obviously, Trey Lance may need a little bit more work to refine his game. You're going to get that longer leash to do that. You saw it with Josh Allen in Buffalo. They gave him, 2-3 years. Sean McDermott ain't going nowhere, right? He's seen the progression. So if Kyle can mold the guy that he chooses, whether that be Fields, Mack, Lance, then he's going to get a longer leash. My expectation for 2021 is not a Super Bowl. It's 10 wins, like maybe a playoff berth. Like I set my expectations accordingly. That's just kind of where I'm at with it. But I think if that first year is really, really bad, I think people's seats get really, really warm. In year two, if you're not even sniffing the playoffs, we can probably see John Lynch go first. If anyone remembers, Denise made the hire, not Jed. Denise hired Kyle. So that's a big part of that too. So I think the Niners got tired of paying Chip Kelly and Jim Tomsula to not be there. They're going to want to make sure Kyle sees out most of this contract, so that way they're not paying guys to sit on the couch. But I got to get out of here. My wife's yelling at me. I got to get going. But I appreciate everybody for having me on. And my show is always open. Come holler at me, okay?
I will, man. Appreciate you, man.
All right, guys.
Yeah, see how. Thanks, buddy.
Later.
So I think I'll end it on my take with this is to say that, first of all, I feel like we can't, everybody's talking about this from such like a absolute, level. This guy is this version of Jimmy G already, Mac Jones. Like we don't, people develop all the time. No one saw Tom Brady coming. No one saw, Mahomes coming the way that Mahomes currently is in the NFL. So I'm not suggesting that any one of these guys are Mahomes in waiting, but I do feel like there's a lot of like hardcore stances in the industry against Mac Jones, against this player, against that player. Bottom line to me is this system's going to probably produce a very, very good result, regardless of who it is. So I think odds are things are going to work out really well for the Niners. I do believe, though, that Lance will, in my opinion, be the better path to, like I said, protection for Shanahan, that if things aren't going great right away, you've got a quarterback that's still going to be able to score points for you. And so I'm really hoping it is Lance for Shanahan's sake. And I'm not sold on Mac, but I will say I kind of want to push back on some of the comments that the fans don't want Mac. From everything I'm reading in the chat right here, it feels like way more than 20% of the chat is all about Mac Jones. So how do you guys really believe those percentages are if you're going from like your own community on IG? When we go live on IG, Dr. Raj and we go live, we have like 500-600 people in the live stream, and we look at it, it's about 10-15% Mac Jones, 60% Fields, and maybe the remainder is Lance. What do you guys feel like the chat is made up of in your community? Because it feels a lot more Mac Jones heavy in here than it does when we're on IG.
Well, I know when I'm on Twitter, and that's kind of where I'm at most of the time, it feels like there's a lot more guys that don't want Mac Jones than anything else. And I can see why, but I think people just maybe have to kind of like take off their blinders a little bit and really see like, no, like this dude does things very well. My thing is I just would never take him over Justin Fields. Now to kind of answer the question about like, them getting fired and, all that type of stuff. I think at the end of the day, like, yeah, if any of these quarterbacks, if they bust, which that is the potential for any guy, like you're not going to be in the job soon. And I would say the time frame for that is probably 2 years. If he sucks this year and then sucks next year, you're probably going to be out of the job, because now you're talking about 5 losing seasons in 6 years. Like, so that's more the reason why you're going to be out of there right now. I think if you kind of look at it like kind of being more realistic, I think at the end of the day, Kyle will be solid with any of these guys, even if it's Mac Jones or whoever. I could see them, especially like year 2, winning 10 plus games and being good enough. Now, maybe that they're not great. Maybe they don't live up to the 3rd overall pick hype, but I think any of them will be serviceable enough to where Kyle is definitely able to win. Look, 49ers were damn near a playoff team this year with Nick Mullins at quarterback, and he has no physical elite traits or anything like that. He was just too many turnovers against Washington away from winning, too many turnovers against Dallas, too many turnovers against Philly. Like, those were the issues. If you just get slightly better play, 49ers will be all right. And I think all of these guys, they for sure offer that. So I think his job is for the most part going to be safe. And I think he'll figure out a way to be able to win with any of these guys. That's like the lower level. I think if any of these guys reach what they're more likely to be, I think he'll be just fine. So when I look at Mac Jones, I think Yeah, I know people want to say, well, he can be great, he can be Tom Brady. I think he's more likely going to be like a Kirk Cousins. And I think you go to the playoffs with a quarterback like that. Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, that type of quarterback. They got Justin Fields. I think he's more likely going to be like a Dak Prescott. Yeah, maybe he could be a Deshaun Watson or something like that, but he's more likely to be Dak Prescott. You can go to the playoffs with a quarterback like that. So I think for the most part, their job is going to be fairly safe because I do think Kyle does a really good job of putting together a good team. They just got to stay healthy. I think that's the bigger issue.
Hey guys, I got to bounce for right now. I don't know if we're doing something tomorrow still.
Yeah,
just hit me offline. We'll do a mock draft tomorrow on the channel. But appreciate being in here. You guys rock. Chat's amazing. Even the haters. I still love the haters.
Always love the haters.
Yeah, but go Trey Lance. See you guys. I appreciate you.
All right, I'll touch base with you, Smith.
Smitty is the man. We'll see you tomorrow, bro.
Yep. See you guys.
All right, guys. We're down to the final 6 here, man. You know, this is like a NCAA basketball tournament over here, you know? So listen, man, we're faced with the question at hand. This is the topic of the night, okay? I hear you guys saying what you think about Kyle Shanahan. Nick, I didn't hear you get to give your opinion on it.
Yeah, I mean, look.
Breezy, wait. Before we get to Breezy, did you give yours?
Nah, not yet.
All right,
but
I don't want to skip. I don't want to skip anybody. Y'all know the order that we were going in. Tony, you gave yours. Tony gave his already. So Breezy, let's do Breezy, then let's do Nick, and then we'll reel this thing back in.
Like I'm gonna piggyback off of what Eric says. I think these guys are pretty much safe to go for it, man. They're giving the opportunity to draft their guy. And so whoever that guy is going to be on Thursday, they're going to give them some time to get that guy right. I don't think they got to come in here and win you 13 games and take you to the Super Bowl year one. Would we like to see that? Absolutely. I mean, we want our team to win, but I think they're going to kind of give that slow progression, sort of kind of like what you saw with Josh Allen. You know, he was out there, he was electrifying year one, and he threw a lot of interceptions, and in year two, he just automatically just turned into an MVP candidate. And so I kind of think that's what we're going to be getting with whatever quarterback we draft in this particular draft, even if it's McCorkle Jones or Mac Jones or whatever you want a quarterback. Because I do agree with you, Croc, like the kid has great traits. I just think preference-wise, I want to see a quarterback that can just do a little bit more than what Mac Jones can do, who can make all the throws. Right? You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. I'm not saying he has great traits. I just think that there's certain subtleties that go into playing the quarterback position that he does very well. Like, but he doesn't have
great traits. Mac Jones doesn't have a single.
I mean, he can make certain throws. Okay, that's fine. But you watched him make a lot of good throws to a lot of good wide receivers and some good sets.
And that's
all his throws weren't bad, Mike. Like all his throws weren't bad.
No. I'm not saying they were bad. What I'm saying is that Mac Jones had a roster that he couldn't overthrow.
I just
the receivers were that damn good and they were that damn open.
I just said to good wide receivers. Like I said, he had good wide receivers. I didn't say he had mediocre guys. Ohio State had good guys. But to answer the question, I think Kyle and John get some time. I don't know what that narrative is for John because they already promoted Adam Peters to assistant general manager. So that's going to kind of push something going forward. And I'm sure Nick will talk a little bit about that. And so John might be on his way out. He might move up to president. I don't know. I just know Kyle's going to get some time with this particular quarterback.
All right, Nick, man, let's get. I'm anxious to hear from you, man, because listen, I'll be honest with you. People think that you're the voice of reason on the Nothing But Niners show, so I want to hear what you got to say about this because I think that Mac Jones was bailed out a lot by the phenomenal receivers that he had. Bailed out a lot by the phenomenal.
Listen, I mean, I 100% agree with that. I mean, I do think that Mac Jones is a good quarterback, right? But when you move up and you give up so much draft capital, you don't go after good. You go after the potential to be great. I think Mac Jones is a Jimmy Garoppolo, is a Kirk Cousins, is a Dak Prescott type quarterback. And none of them have a Super Bowl championship. Not a single one of them. I'm not here to make a playoff. I'm here to win a Super Bowl. These guys in the NFC West and every other team around us, the entire league is going with dual threat type quarterbacks who can keep plays open. Keep your eyes downfield. Get out of the pocket. When a play breaks down, get out of the pocket, make a throw. We see Kyle Shanahan trying to do that with Jimmy Garoppolo. Move him out of the pocket. Throw the ball across to the middle of the field to George Kittle. Roll out the other way. Throw it to Kyle Juszczyk. We see him trying to utilize his quarterback and get him out of the pocket. You throw in a talent like Trey Lance. You can even throw Zach Wilson in there because he can move out of the pocket. You can and throw Justin Fields in there. Mac Jones is not that guy. He can step up in a pocket. He can maneuver around in the pocket and do those type of things. But we also got to remember, the NFL defensive linemen are way different than collegiate linemen. They're a lot faster. They're getting there. College level is getting there. They come out slowly to where they're faster, they're slimmer, they're more powerful, things like that. But we can all probably sit here and agree that the NFL right now has more of that talent than collegiate level does overall. My feeling on the whole thing is Mac Jones is not a guy. If we're talking sitting at 12, I'm okay with drafting Mac Jones. But when we give up what we gave up to move up to 3 and other guys are sitting there, and we had this discussion the other night. I said personally that Tony asked the question of 25 years, what quarterback would I take? I am always and always have been more of a pocket guy. I want a guy who's going to throw the football until the very last minute when he cannot throw the football anymore. That is what I want. I mentioned and said I answered Tom Brady. Now, you go back 25 years, Tom Brady was pretty goddamn good in those 25 years. Has he slouched off a lot? Absolutely. He's old. But Tony brings up and Mike bring up Steve Young, Russell Wilson, these guys. These guys, I want a guy that's going to be able to escape pressure, keep his eyes downfield, and if the throw's not there, go. You're still getting the football out of your hands. Or make the decision that, slide or run or, take off with it. But then you add that extraness to your offense, as in where you have, like we had with Colin Kaepernick, where we can RPO it, where we can do those things and people can't. How much better do you think our run game can get where it's already really good, but with a running quarterback? Not saying because his rushes, but because of the threat of him taking off. How much better are our receivers going to get? How much better is the passing game going to get? How much better are the running backs going to get? So in my eyes, I said today talking to Breezy, this is to end it real quick and then we'll move forward. I said talking on our IG Live today that I'm not opposed to Trey Lance here. The reasons I'm opposed to Trey Lance, and I think I was talking to other guys about this too, is we don't know if there's going to be in-house, in-person training camps this year. Do we know how these guys are? Are they kinesthetic learners? Are they visual learners? How do they learn? Because right now, as it is, we all talk about that these guys can come in and run this offense from day one, but they're not even going to get the chance to do that until camp. No OTAs, no mini camps. They're going to be all virtual. So we're trusting 2 weeks or 3 weeks before preseason games start for a rookie to come in and just take over. Who's the better guy for that right now? In my opinion, to be Justin Fields. Who could it be later down the road? Trey Lance. It could be. Both of these guys can fluke, and Mac Jones could be the better quarterback in all this.
But the thing is,
I want a guy
to protect these guys. Kyle could protect these guys. He did it with Nick Mullins, he did it with Jimmy, and he did it with CJ. 3 different schemes to run a successful offense to their skill set. So I'm not worried about that, because if it's Trey Lance, I think he could dial up an offense and create an offense to slowly ease him into the transition of the NFL with things that he feels comfortable in. We saw it when Jimmy Garoppolo came to San Francisco. He went 5-0 running an offense that had a bunch of New England Patriots principles in it. Mm-hmm. Attacking the middle of the field, tight end, slot. Trent Taylor, we all thought Trent Taylor was the next Wes Welker. He disappeared after that. Granted, he got a knee injury, but once they turned the page on that after that 5-0 start and they really started implementing Kyle Shanahan's offense, you saw the teetering. Like, it wasn't as consistent. Jimmy didn't look like the way he did when he went 5-0. But I don't know. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to say that.
No, you're good.
Any of these three, I feel I have confidence in Kyle. It's just when you make that jump, you want something else. You don't want just that quarterback that can sit in the pocket and throw. Yeah, he can manipulate the pocket. He can create time, step up, slide away from the pressure. 100%. You see it on the film. But the problem is, in the fourth quarter, when they blitz the shit out of him and send heavy pressures, it's going to be different when you have a more pocket quarterback than when you have a threat of a running quarterback. Where if Justin Fields could run a naked bootleg compared to a Mac Jones running a naked bootleg, or an RPO where he fakes the handoff, watches the end crashes down, he takes off running. Those are all tricks that could keep the defense honest rather than having a true pocket quarterback.
Tony, you said it the other night. Kyle Shanahan wants to implement that in his offense. You've seen him do it with CJ Beathard, and he gained 27 yards on a keeper that nobody expected him to do. You throw in a guy like Trey Lance or Justin Fields, they have to be prepared for that every single time. The same that our defense has to be prepared for it with Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. That is what you heard these guys praise about how hard it is to stop running quarterbacks. Why would you not? You have the opportunity to add generational talent, in my opinion, in either or Justin Fields or Trey Lance. It's just about a time factor there. Either or over a guy that you have already in your system, who the only reason isn't good in your system right now is because of injuries. He can't stay healthy because when Jimmy is playing at a good level, he is a decent quarterback. I can't take away from him still being the quarterback of a Super Bowl contender where we went from a 4-12 team to 2019. I can't take that away from him. I don't care how much he threw. I don't care how much, he threw interceptions, completed passes, his percentage. He was a winning quarterback. He did what was asked of him on this team. He had mistakes just like any other quarterback, and I can't take that away from him. But his problem is health. He cannot stay healthy. So you need a guy that can move around in the pocket and avoid those sacks, avoid those hits. Why does Russell Wilson stay healthy all the time? He gets away from most of the contact and then is smart and slides. And I think the one time that he did get injured was a late hit. So, that's why these guys stay healthy, because they're avoiding all that contact. What does CJ Beathard, Nick Mullins, even Kirk Cousins do? They lay down. They take the hit. So evolve the offense. That's all I'm asking. Evolve the offense. Get better. Why would you not try to get better and build your system around something that you can be that much better and take a guy that you can already settle for, that you already have on contract for 2 more years? This is where we're talking about before, where is Kyle Shanahan wrong? If he doesn't make the right decision right now, he's wrong. Get out of your own head and evolve your offense.
I think he woke up.
In order for that to happen, though, Nick, and to the rest of the fellas, he has to evolve. So if Kyle Shanahan is in the fact to evolve himself, you can't expect him to go ahead and make the quarterback switch. And so that's why we're coming back having this discussion. Is Kyle Shanahan ready to move forward? That's the question that we all need to know.
He said he was.
We know what he said, Brock, but saying one thing and doing a different thing. And so on Thursday, we can all be made into believers. I feel like if he moves
we're going to find out for real. We're going to find out. Talk your shit, Breezy. Talk your shit, Breezy.
But seeing it 4 times a year between Murray and Wilson, I think Kyle said, okay, it's time to move on from my belief.
Last year was even harder.
Upgraded game manager.
Because you had the fact last year was more crazy, Tony, because you had to factor in Josh Allen and all the other quarterbacks. Even Carson Wentz did a damn thing on the 49ers. He beat the 49ers. Carson Wentz and some dude that was bagging my groceries at Whole Foods that just got picked up one week to play the 49ers. I'm telling you, Kyle Shanahan is seeing the light. The question is he going to walk the light? That's what we need to find.
I got a question for you guys. I asked Breezy this question earlier, and Croc, I want to hear your opinion, Tony and Mike and Moses as well. But there was a report that came out today that there's only 2 people in the 49ers organization that knows who the pick are. John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, right? Do we, first off, you could just say yes or no. Do we believe that there's only 2 people?
No.
These reports are bullshit.
No.
Okay.
I think the whole team. I think Peters, Lynch, Shanahan. I even think Jed York knows who to pick.
Okay, and I think
Jed York. Only 2 people know. I think only 2 people know.
And your guess your guess would be John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, right?
Yeah, it goes back to.
So
I think it was.
No. Time out. Croc, you've been around the game. You've been in the pros, bro. Why are you so gullible? Why you believe everything the media is saying? You know better than that.
I listen.
Bro.
I listen to these guys on TV, and they're in their situations that they've been in, where they've been in situations where nobody knew, and this guy, like Trubisky, the Trubisky pick, nobody knew, but the GM Ryan Pace, he was the only one that knew they were taking Trubisky. He wouldn't even tell his
Exactly.
head
So why
coach.
would you? But that's exactly the point. Why would you believe the media saying what's going on in the 49ers building? These guys are all speculating. You know better than that, bro.
I strongly believe nobody knows. Now, that's not to say like Peters isn't involved. Like I'm saying, but in the sense of like there's a small, tiny group of people that truly know who the pick is and where they're going with this. These
That's
are one
not
of
what
the things
Nick
that
said.
he said there's nobody know, like only people that know is them.
I
That's not
definitely
what
think
Nick
Mike
said.
Shanahan knows.
Yeah, I think I know
What
for
was the
sure Mike
question?
Shanahan knows.
Nick
Only
said
two
Nick
people.
said Nick said that the report came out that only 2 people in the entire organization know. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Come on, man.
I think Croc, you're taking it as I think this is what you're trying to say, and correct me if I'm wrong. You're trying to say that John and Kyle are the only 2 who know who the pick is at 3. There are other people involved, as in who they think should be taking, as in
there are other people that have been involved
discussion.
in the discussion.
Right, a roundtable discussion.
And I think they're sitting there and they're saying, all right, like, okay, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And maybe they can try to jump to conclusion on who it is. But I think as far as when everybody else, all right, everybody, we'll break till tomorrow. Then boom, all right, Kyle. Okay, this is who we're going with. And those 2 know. I think every report that's kind of been out there, I've kind of started piecing things together. I think it's BS. I think nobody knows but those 2 guys.
Okay. And now let me ask you this.
Now wait. Before you move on, why would only 2 people know if they have 14 people scouting, if they have 10 people who are making decisions in the higher ups? Why would only 2 people know? And if you believe that, who are the 2 people?
Yeah, I think Kyle and I think John. And this is why. Where there are people talking. There are people talking. And if it's me and I don't want any of this to get out because I want to be able to maneuver and do the things that I want to do, how I want to do it, I'm not telling anybody. We can have a discussion. All of us, we can talk and we can have these different discussions and they can be heated debates and whatever on who we think should be the guy. But at the end of the day, none of y'all know who we taking. Me and John, we'll come and you guys will find out draft night. And this won't be the first time that has happened. This has happened plenty of times where the scouts, nobody else really knows. We've seen it with New England Patriots. They talk about how they got their little board on the wall and nobody, they not even allowed in there.
Eric, it's different with New England because New England, the head coach and the GM are the same player. It's the same person, bro. That's not how it works with the 49ers. Listen to me. Kyle Shanahan was the head coach. They said, hey, get John Lynch because that's who Kyle wants. And then John Lynch said, hey, go get Adam Peters because I don't know shit. And then he said, hey, go get Martin Mayhew because I don't know shit. Okay? So there's no way in hell that all of a sudden only 2 people know. That's not possible with the 49ers structure.
Everybody is involved in the conversation. Everybody's involved in the evaluation.
So, Mike, I think what he's trying to say is, let's look at it this way. Me and you, right? So me and you are up here at Nothing But Niners. We discuss things with everybody else on the panel, right? But in the end, we, let's say setting up guests or whatever, we don't tell anybody about that until it's done. We don't go and tell them until, and I think that's what he's trying to say. So we discuss everything.
Let me tell you why that's not how it works.
That's what I'm trying to say.
No. But let me tell you why that's not how it works. So, for example, let's say, a moment of transparency, right? NY to the Bay runs the shit out of our social media platforms, right? Nick, you agree?
Yeah.
You and I are at the top, like you said, but NY to the Bay runs the shit out of our IG. If we say, hey, what guest did you get from IG? And NY to the Bay says, I got X, Y, and Z. He knows who the next guests are going to be. The rest of the panel might not know, but Mike knows because he's the person that lined that shit up. Right or wrong?
Right. But in defense here, it's a different scenario because let's all say right here, we're all talking as a panel, right? We're all talking as a panel, and let's just say we're talking about who we want to draft, right? Or who we want to bring on the show next. We're all talking about it. So everybody's giving their opinions, right? But in the end, we don't want it getting out to other social media avenues or other platforms. So me and you, as the head of Nothing But Niners, we discuss it ourselves and we agree on something, but we don't tell everybody else until after it's been said of who we're getting. And I think that's what Croc is trying to say.
And this is why I'm going to disagree. Because I can tell Tony what's next. I can tell Breezy what's next. Hell, I can tell Eric Crocker what's next. And I know that those guys aren't going to say shit to anybody outside. And that's why I don't believe only two people know. Because the people that we trust, the people that are in our circle know not to tell outside sources. That's why I say it's bullshit. There's no way in hell that only two people know what the pick is going to be at 3. It's not possible, bro.
Is it possible they haven't decided yet? You know, I know everyone thinks that they have, but like, how many times have you guys, especially from a fantasy football perspective, you don't know what you're doing sometimes till the last second.
Yeah.
Hey, Smitty, let me ask you. Go ahead.
No, and I was also going to say, did anybody bring up the fact that also Brady, was an option for the Niners, and that got passed on too? Because we were talking a lot about how Shanahan needs to step up, or he's not accountable for this or that and that. But there was also that opportunity that I wanted to throw out there. That even when that got brought up amongst Niner communities before Brady signed with the Bucs, it was, he's old, he's washed up. There were a lot of people that missed the boat on that one. So I'm not saying that was just Shanahan or the Niners in general, but there's a lot of times that this thing has been missed. To go back to the original question that why we got on here, but do you believe that they 100% have the pick locked in? You don't think there's any kind of wavering still?
I think that they can have the pick locked in now, but they don't have to tell anyone else. I think that nobody's going to find out. I don't think the rest of their team is going to find out until they get to the building on Thursday and they tell them then. And I'm listening on TV and I'm listening to all these different GMs in these different situations. And there have been several situations where they don't tell anybody who that pick is until the day of. I've heard, and sometimes it's just the team maybe not deciding until that day. I heard, I think it was Louis Riddick was talking about how they were going back and forth between Kellen Winslow and Sean Taylor. And they had got into a heated debate and all that type. They didn't know who they were going to take until the day of the draft. The head coach came back and was like, we're taking Sean Taylor. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like those things, I think everybody thinks that these things are just so set in stone and whatever. But they don't have to tell anybody. And I wouldn't, because especially in this day and age, with so much that gets out and all these, I'm hearing this, I'm hearing that. You know what? I ain't telling none of y'all because I don't know who are these guys' sources.
Can anybody explain other than someone wants to make a splash and just be newsworthy? Like, somebody have any really a good concrete theory as to why there are so many Mac Jones, like big name media sources talking about Mac Jones, from Schefter, who we trust a lot in the NFL world? Like, can someone tell me where they think that's coming from? Because it's multiple big name sources.
Go ahead,
I was
Tony.
just going to ask you that because Rappaport just tweeted right now that as the 49ers close in on their decision of which quarterback to take, number 3 sources say they're down to 2 prospects and believe those 2 are Mac Jones and Trey Lance, according to several sources. If it's between 2 people that know this, how the hell is this getting out?
But
Exactly.
how do they not know more than they have to know more than anybody else? Because one, Shefty is very reliable, probably the most reliable source, I would say, in especially the fantasy football world. But finding out information, not blowing the whistle too early, not jumping the gun. So I don't know. I feel like there's got to be. I'm not saying that things necessarily linked.
I'm going to tell you why those 2 are being linked right now. Okay, those 2, in my opinion, are being linked. Is one, because Mac Jones is a prototypical type of Kirk Cousins guy who Kyle Shanahan has been linked to for years of trying to get back into his system. Trey Lance is being linked to the 49ers because Jimmy Garoppolo is still on this roster. and that would be the best thing for the 49ers to give him a year or two to grow, and that because the team is saying that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to continue to be part of their plans.
Talk your shit, Nick. Talk your shit,
Trey
Nick.
Lance is the guy who's not ready to take over because he's only played one season of college football and failed in his first game playing the next year. So now Trey Lance is being linked to the 49ers because Jimmy Garoppolo is still part of the 49ers plans, and Mac Jones is Kirk Cousins.
You said
now let me ask you wait. Let me ask the question.
He said he failed somewhere. Where did he fail? That's what I want.
He failed in his game this year. He played like shit.
He had 4 touchdowns, bro. But he didn't fail.
He ran for those touchdowns, Breezy. Come on, man.
He ran for 2. He threw for 2 and ran for 2 and had a total.
He didn't play well. He didn't play well.
He didn't. Well, but listen, we gotta add context to this. We're talking about a jamboree. That's like a scrimmage. That's like a scrimmage. It's like, bro, like we haven't even really prepared for this. They weren't even supposed to play. They gave him one game, a showcase game. You know what I'm saying? To go ahead and play in the game. He didn't even have to play in the game, and he talked about it, but he wanted to be there to support his brothers. I don't look at that game and put any more stock into it, just like I don't like Zach Wilson playing against Coastal Carolina, where he didn't find out who was playing until 2 days before the game. Like there has to be context with this year because of the COVID season and everything that was kind of going into them playing games. Like, yes, does Trey Lance need things he needs to work on? Did he not play well? But ultimately, the one thing I like about that, whatever, one, he rode with his boys and he did not waver and he went and played. 2, he found a way to put the team on his back and win the game. So it's like at the end of the day, Trey Lance, he's been a winner the whole time. Didn't lose not one game at North Dakota State, which they are the big dogs, and they've lost this year. You know what I'm saying? They've lost like 2 games this year. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't lose no games with him.
That's not the same thing. Like, listen, let me wait. Before we move on from this topic in particular, if Jimmy Garoppolo was not on this roster, let's say the Niners traded him 3 weeks ago, is Trey Lance still on your board? Because this makes a difference, right? The reason why people are comfortable with Trey Lance is because they feel like Jimmy's here and he's got time to learn, right? Am I right? Let's just ask the panel that question.
I want him to regardless, because at the end of the day, like if I feel like whether he might not be the best right now, but if he's the best moving forward, then I gotta like that's what I feel. If I don't feel he's the best moving forward, then I don't draft him. Period.
Eric, that's not the question. That's not the question though. The question is this: if Jimmy was not here and whoever we draft has to start week 1 for sure, do you still think the pick is Trey Lance? That's the question. If Jimmy's not here,
if my pick is Trey Lance with Jimmy Garoppolo, then he's going to be my pick without Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm not changing my mindset on who I want to pick based on if Garoppolo's going to be there or not. I'm picking this guy to moving forward, right?
Breezy, what's your question?
I'm not understanding if he's answering your question and you keep telling him that's not how it works.
That's not how it works.
But you can't say that's not how it works.
No,
Mike,
but it is how it works. If you're the coach and you say, I want that guy, I know based on my system and my scheme, that's the guy I want. I can build him up. I can mold him into what I want to make him to be. If that's it, I'm not going to change or waver that because Jimmy is my guy or not. If he was my guy, regardless, like E is saying, then I'm going to stick with him. Now, I understand your question. From a fan's perspective, if we need a guy to come in and start day 1, do we want it to be Trey Lance? No. I would say you would want it to be Fields because you know that he has more ability right now to start day 1. But what Croc's saying is absolutely right, especially when you're the coach and you're the play caller. If that's my guy, I don't care if I get him at 1 or 257. That's my guy.
Okay, now let me explain to you why I say that's not how it works. Okay. Let me explain myself, okay? So Jimmy Garoppolo's on this roster right now, and we draft Trey Lance. Jimmy Garoppolo can come out and start 6 games for the 49ers. Trey Lance can learn between draft day and 6 weeks to prepare to get his first start in the NFL. Okay. Trey Lance is a guy that's only thrown 1 interception. Okay. Now, if you say Jimmy Garoppolo is not here, Trey Lance has to start day 1. What happens in week 1 and Trey Lance throws 2 or 3 interceptions? All of a sudden, his confidence is shot, right? Now, all of a sudden, you got to figure out how this guy responds to that kind of adversity. We have never, I repeat, we have never
I don't know,
seen
Mike.
Trey
I don't
Lance
know,
face
Mike.
that kind of adversity. No, you can
We
say,
we
you can
we
say,
we,
oh,
we
no,
kind
no,
of
no,
have
no.
though.
But
We kind of
no,
have
we had
because in the
we have not
UCA
seen
game,
him.
they were losing heading to the fourth quarter. He threw an interception and he wasn't throwing well. And he
That was
scored multiple touchdowns in the fourth quarter to pull out the win. Like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, let's
yeah.
not act like
That
there
was
was
against.
no.
Okay, I hear you, but that was against that competition. This is
But
not
you're
NFL
moving the
players.
goalposts now. You're
I'm
moving
not.
the
No, no, no,
goalposts
no, no, no,
now.
no, 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 no. I have not moved the goalposts at all. Because
Mike, the guy is an NFL prospect, right, Mike? And so, like, what? Like, if he's gonna be making it into the NFL, then he's gonna play up to this competition. That's not gonna change who he is and his abilities and what he can do. And so, if this is the guy that
it
you
does.
want,
It does.
but it
It does.
doesn't,
Because
because
this.
any
No, no, no.
quarterback, Justin Fields, who was outstanding, right? That's what
You
you're
got it.
saying. He could come in
No.
here and throw 4 interceptions week 1, right? No, he can't.
No.
Okay, all right,
No, no, no,
all
no.
right,
That's not
all
what I'm
right.
saying. No, no, no. I'm not saying he can't. I'm saying that's not what I'm saying. So listen, just hear me out. Just hear me out, right? I put the comment up there because that's a paid contribution. That's not what I'm saying. Okay. Trey Lance played against lesser competition his entire career. Okay. Do we all agree with that? Just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. He played against lesser competition compared to these other guys. Everybody's giving me a thumbs up. Okay. So we all agree on that, right? Now, we heard Saleh say turnovers are like the olive jar. That was or was that Harbaugh? That was Harbaugh that gave the olive jar thing. He said once you get one out, they all start to fall, right? It'll continue to happen. I'm not worried about the lack of turnovers because once we get one, they'll all start coming. Okay. Trey Lance is not a person who has dealt with multiple turnovers before in his career. He has one interception his
That's fair.
entire collegiate career. So he
Okay.
comes in week 1. Jimmy's not here. Jimmy's not here, and he gets 3 turnovers in the first week. One's a fumble, 2 are interceptions. Okay. Now, hold on. Now you have no idea how he mentally responds to that kind of pressure. You have no idea because you've never seen it. Nobody has
But it is
ever.
an assumption.
Wait. Nobody has ever. Somebody was talking. Go ahead. I don't know who said it. Somebody said something.
Oh, I was going to say it is an assumption to say that Lance won't be able to handle it, though. It's an assumption because there are a lot of players that come out from small colleges. A lot of players like Burrow have had 1 year. I get you can nitpick as to what, like, okay, big competition, higher level of talent that he's facing. I get that. Like there's definitely arguments to be made there. But I do think if you're gonna say that Trey Lance could struggle, you got to say that Fields can struggle too. And I feel like Lance at least can run the football, and that's an innate instinct you can't teach. You're going to be able to hold this guy's hand, and I truly believe you would win more games starting week 1 with Lance than you would with Fields. I truly believe that. Out of all the quarterback scouting I've done for the 19 years that I'm doing this, I'm going to say I'm always right, but I do pretty well with quarterback scouting, and I have a feeling in this system Lance would be able to avoid more. He would have less mistakes than Fields, I think, in this offense. I truly believe that just from looking at what I've seen. Yeah.
Now this is the difference. This is the difference, right? Kyle Shanahan is going on record multiple times saying that plays in the first half set up plays in the second half. Do we all agree with that so far?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you come out and you're running plays, but the quarterback goes off script. Those plays that you're trying to set up, those dominoes, don't fall the same way because he ended up running. Now, all of a sudden, instead of a linebacker playing the coverage that he's supposed to play, he's going to stand tight and he's going to cover that quarterback. Now, all of a sudden, Kyle Shanahan's entire game plan goes out the window because of a running quarterback's ability. So here's what I'm saying, right? We have never seen Trey Lance have a multiple turnover game. That's not my opinion. That is a fact. That's a fact. He's had one game with one turnover.
Okay.
Only one his entire career. So you give him his first game with multiple turnovers, we don't know how he's going to respond mentally. So Kyle's thinking, in my opinion, this is my opinion, Kyle's thinking, I don't know how he's going to react to that. If Jimmy Garoppolo's not on this roster in week 1, that means that Trey Lance has to be the guy going forward. And if he has multiple turnovers, I don't know how he's gonna react. We gotta think this thing through from Kyle's perspective. Kyle wants to set up dominoes. I'm going to do A, B, and C. And it doesn't matter if A, B, and C are successful because I'm setting up X, Y, and Z. Forget all the letters in between. Forget them all because A, B, and C is going to set up X, Y, and Z. But X, Y, and Z goes out the window if he doesn't let A, B, and C go the way it's supposed to. And I think that's why Kyle refuses to go out and get a running quarterback, a quarterback that can take off and make plays outside of the design of the original play.
Then
okay?
Kyle's not ready to. He's not ready to evolve, bro. And
no. That's not what I'm saying.
But then you are saying that without saying that because in the NFL nothing stays according to script, Mike. And so A, B, and C you can set up for X, Y, and Z, but then there's gonna be some letters in between when shit happens, bro. And so if you have a quarterback that can ad-lib to make some things happen, then Kyle has to be a great coordinator and a coach and say, you know what? All right, now let's get back to script. I'm sorry,
right,
Eric. Eric got his hand.
Let me ask you guys this question because this is the whole reason we're talking about
I'm going to
this,
forget I'm forget what I had to say.
Yeah, let me go.
Go ahead, Croc.
In response, because I got to leave anyway because we got the strike and gold on Locker Room app. But what I wanted to say was at the end of the day, if I draft a player at 3, I'm drafting that player. Like I'm not wavering that based on anyone else that's on my roster. I'm drafting him because I see what he's going to be day one, whether that's playing or not, and moving forward and what my plan is. Now my plan might have to change according to, okay, well, we got rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. So let me put together these different packages, things he feels comfortable with, what I can bring him along with. Now, that's the first part. Like regardless of who I have at quarterback, at 3, I'm taking that guy regardless. And if I'm not willing to take that guy, then I don't want him at all. But I never wanted him. Like that's not going to change based on Jimmy Garoppolo. So that's just the first part. The second part to that is as far as how he's going to react to adversity. I know one thing, and you have to take pieces to kind of figure out somebody's mental makeup. One, this was a kid that he wanted to go to University of Minnesota. He wanted to get an offer. That was his dream. They offered him to play safety. He said, I'm not playing safety. I'm a quarterback. He went to a whole nother school. So that's the first part about how this kid is driven in a different way and reacts to adversity. When you want to learn about how this kid works, his work ethic is top notch. His work ethic is top notch. They say everybody that talks about him, he's the brightest QB they've worked with. So you have that. He's extremely smart. 2, he went to scouts and said, hey, what's my scouting report? I want to know what are the things I need to work on. He went to Coach John Beck and asked John Beck, hey, don't sugarcoat it. Where am I at and what do I need to do and how am I going to get there? Help me get there so I can be the best I can. So if he goes to week 1 and has a 3 turnover game, he's not going to tuck his tail. He's going to go to Shanahan and say, all right, what did I do wrong? Where can I get better? Because that's been his mental makeup the entire time. He ain't no hoe.
No, that's not his makeup the entire time because we've never seen it.
But with Tilly,
right, but
there's a lot. When somebody
argue back and forth.
Yeah, I know, but hold on, because I gotta take off. If somebody feels a certain way about how they are mentally, right? If I tell you, listen, I want to go to this school, but I gotta change the way I go to this school, and I gotta go play a different position, and I'm mentally strong enough to say, nah, like. This is what I am. I believe in this, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I'm the best. And then, even then, people can talk about North Dakota State being the lower division. They are a powerhouse in the FCS. They are the best program in the FCS in the Division I AA. And he goes there and leads them undefeated as a freshman. And leading up to that point, when he was redshirting, okay, but even then, when he was redshirting, he's in there he's watching film on NFL defenses because he's bored and he's able to just retain that. So he's different. I think what you're trying to do, you're trying to peg him in to just being like this kind of normal dude, and he's not. And everything that everybody says about him is he's exceptional in every aspect of what he does. He just is a little raw in certain areas and needs to improve. But that's going to be they're going to have to decide, and it sounds like they haven't figured that out. Is that the route we want to go? If so, I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo has anything to do with it. But I got to take off because we're supposed to get on at 9 o'clock. But I appreciate you.
All right.
But go ahead, respond real quick. I know you have a response.
Thanks for jumping on, bro. Hey guys, make sure you guys go and follow Eric Crocker. Wait, hold on, Smitty. Make sure you guys go and follow Eric Crocker. Make sure you guys jump on with them right now at the Locker Room app. If you have an iPhone, that apparently that's the place to be because I don't think Droids can do it still. So make sure you guys go get that Locker Room app. Go and follow. What's the name of it?
Locker Room.
Locker Room. Yeah, it's like striking goal. I don't know
Goal.
how it works, but you know, I'll tweet out the link though.
Yo, I need you to hit me up about that because I've been trying to figure some things out on that. So hit me up when you get a chance.
All right, bet. Yeah. All right, John.
Make sure you guys go and give them some love. Eric, thanks for jumping on, bro. I appreciate you, man.
Text me back, E.
All right. Now, Smitty is in here now.
Like I said, text me back.
Eric drops out. Smitty makes it up to the second row. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for rocking out with us. What I'm saying is this, guys. We have never seen in 3 years, we have never seen Trey Lance have a multiple turnover game. We have literally.
Well, Mike, let me ask you, why is that? Why are you so hung up on that? At some point,
that's what I'm going to tell you.
We're gonna have to see him face adversity. It's the NFL. He's not going to have a perfect season. He's not going to have a perfect game every game. At some point, he's going to face adversity. And what do we know about Jimmy Garoppolo? One of the biggest stats about Jimmy Garoppolo is he plays better after he throws an interception. And we still want another quarterback on this team that can play better and do more than what Jimmy Garoppolo does. At some point, it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen week one as with the scenario that you're putting out. At some point, it's going to happen. So I understand where your question is coming from, but we have to wait and see. Is that something that makes him say, okay, let me do something different? Or is he one of those guys that sits on the bench and sulks? Based off of what Croc just said and based off of the information that we're getting from him, he doesn't seem like that guy that says, woe is me, let me hang my head, and then I play worse.
I have an answer for you, but before I give it, I'm going to move it to Smitty because he's been trying to jump in. I see your fingers in the screen. Go ahead, Smitty, and then I'm going to give my answer.
I got to jump after this. This will be my last comment, my mic drop. I'll say this. You know what happens when you worry about who you've got on the roster to make your decision? Like, we're going to go with Fields instead of Lance because of Jimmy G's on. You end up with a Jimmy G. You end up with a Mac Jones, someone would say. I think you've got to make the pick that you believe, as Croc said, to be your future quarterback, regardless of what the hell is going on around it. Because if you end up having a struggling piece of the beginning of your season, so be it. Like Croc said, you wouldn't be drafted. If you thought he was your guy with Jimmy, you're going to think he's your guy without Jimmy. And if you make any other decision, you're going to end up with a Jimmy G. You're not going to have an elite quarterback.
And before you leave, Smitty, and that's the thing I was saying, though. The reason we're all only saying that Trey Lance is here is because of people are saying that he is more of a project quarterback. And we don't even know if the 49ers are interested in Trey Lance. None of us know that. It's just speculation. We don't know if Trey Lance's name is in there. People are asking, why are we connected to Trey Lance? Why are we connected to Mac Jones? We might not even be interested in Trey Lance or Justin Fields.
I guess it just comes down to the quarterback evaluation process that we all go through for ourselves. And some of us see it differently for Fields. Some of us see it differently for Lance. I feel like Lance is given that unfair tag that you're a project. You can't start right away, but Fields could. I just disagree based on what I've seen with my own eyes. I get it that you got to factor in a whole lot of other things. I get it that we're not all going to be right, and there could be a quarterback that's better than these guys down below this guy that we're all missing. So I think it's important to not speak in absolutes because none of us really truly know that Lance or Fields will be better than the other. We can only project it, and my projection, all that I do, the way I do it is really fantasy football geared, but I'm trying to project the best possible outcome for this player. And everything that I see tells me, and again, fantasy is a little different than real football, but that this guy would be ultra productive from the get-go, from the jump, because of how much of a new dynamic you have to your offense, a new different type of playbook you can run with this guy, Lance, and he can get you out of trouble. And you can bring him along even slower because of his ability to get out of trouble on his own. And 8 instincts you can't teach. I just don't see him as a guy that's less of a pocket passer, less ready on day one.
I feel like a lot of people doubt Fields. A lot of people feel like Fields has that bust factor. Like, I'm not alone in thinking that Lance is better day one than Fields. There are a lot of people that feel that way, and there are a lot of people that feel Mac could be the number one choice. So, I mean, again, it's a fun debate. I think there's no absolute here.
Yeah, I think it's a dead end street either way until Thursday at pick number 3 or pick number 2, I should say, because that's going to determine a lot as well because we don't even know who's going to.
Yeah,
we can sit here and argue.
Hopefully Wilson. Yeah, Wilson falls. That'd be amazing. All this for nothing.
Yeah. We don't even know. Justin Fields could go number 2 overall. Trey Lance could go number 2 overall. We have no clue. No clue whatsoever. Miss Debbie says, who is a big follower of ours, she says, how do we follow Smitty? What's his Twitter? Oh, we lost your mic.
The best place to find me is at smitty1.com, and all my social handles, my YouTube, everything's right there at smitty1, the number 1.com. Everything's pretty much the fantasy football show, but on Twitter, it's smitty1com is my handle. Okay. But yes, smitty1.com is where you can find everything.
All right, so
I'm
we're on tomorrow, 6 p.m., right?
Yeah, tomorrow, 6 p.m. Oh, wait, we blew the whistle on what's going to happen.
Oh, I know, right? We blew the whistle. Blew the whistle. We got a leak here at Nothing But Niners.
Later, guys.
I'll see you. So, look, my opinion on that, Tony, I want to hear your opinion before you get out of here. Why do you think Trey Lance and Mac Jones are the guys that are being speculated to the 49ers and Justin Fields isn't?
I don't know. What I don't understand is everyone's saying that Trevor Lawrence is the number one quarterback, and I said this on the show the other day. Justin Fields outplayed him in the playoff game to go to the national championship, and no one talks about that. That's what kills me. But then people say, well, Clemson defense isn't really good. Well, I don't think Ohio State has the best offensive line. So, and all that bullshit with the one read crap. And Kyle's offense is designed to go to the first read. So if he's a one-read quarterback, I guess that's a perfect fit, even though he's not. But, it's just, I kind of feel like now people are overlooking Fields. You know what I'm saying? Like Smitty made very valid points about Trey Lance. I like Trey Lance, but my biggest knock against him is competition, and I'll stick by that. The speed at the FCS compared to the NFL is night and day. The speed of the ACC to the NFL is night and day. The speed of the SEC, which is the toughest competition in football, in college football, is different from the NFL. So, I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback. He does a lot of things Kyle requires his quarterbacks to do, but I just think the number one thing is Kyle's main objective is to find a guy that the two of them see the game in the same lens. And that's it. Now, my opinion, I think QB Collective comes up huge for this scenario because Kyle worked with him. Scangrella worked with him. Beck worked with him. Mike worked with him. All the McDaniel, LaFleur, McVay is even involved with that. Now, what that tells me is they know how this kid is on a whiteboard because that's part of the camp. It's field and classroom. They know his thought process. So Kyle could be like, you know what? I like the way he recalled the plays, and when we went to the whiteboard, he recalled the plays, drew the plays, broke them down. What is first read? What is second read? What to do versus cover 3? What to do versus cover 4? What to do versus cover 6? What to do versus man? And they all work on that shit in that camp. So if anybody has an advantage, in my opinion, I think it's Fields. But it's not a knock against Lance. I just because Kyle worked with this kid coming out of high school 4.5 years ago. So it's kind of like, I think they want Fields out of this to try to, I think, Nick, you said it, to try to draw up interest for Jimmy Garoppolo to make New England think they're going Mac Jones and, for stuff like that. But then again, you look at the pro day on NFL Network, and guess what? Belichick was shaking his heads at some of the throws that Mac Jones was making. So, honestly, it's a big mind, I can't say the F word on here, but it's a mind F, and we're not going to find out until Thursday, approximately 8:30, 8:35. when we'll be on the clock making the pick. And that's all it comes down to. I could say Fields, you could say Lance, you could say, Wilson. Everyone could have their own opinion. It's just the main thing is he has the most experience, Fields. 2 years as a starter. He petitioned the Big 12, Big 10, whatever the hell it is now, to play football this year. He went out and fought. I want to play football. We want to play football. This league wants to participate. And he got it to participate. That's why they were 8-1, a shortened schedule. But, we could talk about this till we all turn blue in the face. Guess what? It's what they want to do.
Yep. So Denise Granger has a $5 contribution here. She says, can I ask a question? If Mac Jones is so good for the 49ers, why is he not being comped to the Jets? Just wondering.
Because he fits the 49ers system.
Yeah, but LaFleur is over there.
But
so
LaFleur is going to be running the same system.
He fits the 49ers system. Like, they don't know what LaFleur is going to be able to do with any of those pieces over there. If he fits the 49ers
system, if he fits to the 49ers system, he fits the Jet system. And that's her point.
But you can't say that because they don't have all the pieces yet to fit that system.
No, I can say that because the system is run by the system.
All right. And then you also need the players to run the system, right? And so what I'm saying is
that's not true.
Okay.
That's not how it works, Breezy.
You can say that it's not how it works. You can say that, but that's my opinion. You can say it, but that's my opinion.
I understand that, but your opinion may be wrong here. What I'm saying is if a quarterback fits a system, he fits the system for whichever team he's on. Mm-hmm. If a player fits a system as a quarterback, he fits it for whatever team is running that system.
So what I'm trying to say is, because you're right, what I'm trying to say is the Jets don't have all the same pieces in that system as the 49ers does. So he's the best fit for the system. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's probably why he's not tied to the Jet system, because they still need wide receivers, they still need running backs, they still need all those other pieces.
But Kyle Shanahan came over here year one and got a bunch of scraped players to build his system. In year one, he got scraped players to teach the younger guys his system.
It's definitely the same system as what the 49ers ran, because if you look at who he took over with him, John Benton, who runs the zone blocking scheme in the run game, it's definitely the same system. It might not be up to par. They might have to tweak it a little bit till they get the players that they want, but the fundamentals, the play calls.
Okay.
It's all.
So I said the wrong thing.
I would say realistically, the only reason why he's not being comped to the Jets is because there's a player available better than him, and that's Zach Wilson.
If Jimmy was not on this roster, we would not be talking about Trey Lance. And I 100% believe that. If Jimmy was not on this roster, we would not be saying that Trey Lance is a fit for the 49ers.
I disagree.
I don't know.
I disagree.
I don't know if fans wouldn't be saying it, but I don't think it would be comped to us as much as it is with the media.
I would like to hear why Mike says not. Yeah.
Fella, I gotta go.
Jimmy,
I see you.
Yeah. We all gotta go. We're gonna wrap this up in 2 hours. We got 2 minutes left. Tony, hang tight. I think Jimmy allows for a lesser quarterback to get comfortable for a couple of weeks. Okay, there's a difference. If Jimmy wasn't on this team and we had to have a guy who could start week 1 and be good, it changes the way you look at the quarterback position, right? So we don't know if Trey Lance can handle X, Y, and Z, but if he can't handle it and Jimmy can play for 2, 3, 4, 6 weeks, then we can get that guy up to par. We don't know if that's the case if Jimmy's not here. That's what I'm saying. And people are ignoring that. People are tying Trey Lance to the 49ers because Jimmy Garoppolo is still on this roster. However, the 5 people on this panel believe that Jimmy Garoppolo may be traded during the draft. And if that's the case, that means that you need a guy who's ready to start week 1. Trey Lance is not ready to start week 1 for the 49ers. That's a fact. You guys can sit here and say whatever you want to say. You can sugarcoat it however you want to sugarcoat it. That's the facts. Trey Lance is not ready to start week 1 for the 49ers because he hasn't played a game in 2 years. He played 1 game. That's it. He is not ready to start at the pro level week 1. That is a fact.
That's your fact, though. That's your fact.
Who Who disagrees with that?
I mean, I do. So I'm going to be the only one that disagrees, and I'm okay with that. Like, I don't care what y'all agree with. I just think that particular type of quarterback with that particular type of stuff he's dealing with internally, I think he could come into the 49ers system and start week 1. Like, I just do. I think that Kyle Shanahan could do exactly what he did with any other of these bum quarterbacks that he's had on his roster and find a way to win games with a better prospect. I think Trey Lance is a better prospect than any other quarterbacks Kyle Shanahan has dealt with since his 49ers tenure. And so, therefore, I think he can start week 1. Will he win week 1? I don't know. Will he start? Could he start week 1? Yes.
So straight out the gate, smaller windows to fit the ball in. All right. I'm not talking about Trey Lance. I'm not talking about any quarterback in particular. Forget who it is. Just out the gate. No matter if it's Fields, Lance, Wilson, Lawrence, it don't matter. Straight out the gate, you got smaller windows to start with. Less time in the pocket. Okay? Less time to diagnose the defense. All that is minus because you're on the pro level now. You take away Jimmy, and that guy has to be thrust in there week 1. Just off the bat, okay? Trey Lance is all of a sudden at a disadvantage because there's certain people who have started against defenses that are very similar to pro-style defenses, okay? Fields has started against defenses that may look like pro-style defenses. Lance has not had that. He just flat out hasn't had it. We can sit here and pretend like he has. We can sit here and say, oh, the level of competition don't matter because it's equal across the board. That's not the truth. The systems make a difference. The styles, that they make a difference. The level of competition, they make a freaking difference, man. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying Lance isn't the guy. I'm not saying that. But if Jimmy wasn't here, because all of us believe that as soon as we make a selection at 3, Jimmy Garoppolo is gone by day 2 or day 3 of the draft. All of us believe that. As soon as we take a quarterback at 3, Jimmy Garoppolo is out of here. All of us believe that on this roster and on this panel right now. And if that's
Mike,
the
let
case,
me pose something to you.
Go ahead.
Let me pose something to you. If we go with that narrative and say if we sticking with Trey Lance, say if Trey Lance is the guy and he's not ready week 1, why can't the contingency plan be we trade Jimmy, get somebody else, get some compensation for him? Why not start Josh Rosen to give Lance that 5 to 6 weeks to get ready?
Because Kyle Shanahan's not folding. That's why. We have never seen Kyle Shanahan just straight out fold.
Why is that a fold, though? Is Rosen better than Mullins?
I don't know. And that's not me being devil's advocate. I don't know. I never saw Rosen in this system. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not playing devil's advocate.
No. That's cool.
No. I respect what you're saying. I personally don't know Rosen in this system. Personally, I don't trust him. I'm not sure Rosen makes the final 53. I don't know. What I do know is that Rosen's been on 4 teams, and all of them have passed on him. I don't know if Rosen is that guy. And if he's not that guy, that means that whoever we selected 3 has to come out and start right away. And if Trey Lance comes in here and he struggles week 1, I don't know how he's going to rebound because he's never faced that kind of adversity. That's all.
I'm going to be honest. Do you know how
you.
Justin Fields is going to rebound if he struggles week 1?
No, I have no idea. But what I do know is Justin Fields has played similar style defenses as what he's going to face in the NFL.
But he's not faced that adversity.
But we're talking about the struggle and the adversity. If he has 3 turnovers week 1 in the same scenario that you put with Trey Lance, do you know how Justin Fields is going to react to that? Do you know how Zach Wilson is going to react to that?
Let's throw college out the window right now because now we're talking NFL. And so adversity is adversity, bro.
And what I'm saying is
so that college stuff doesn't matter anymore, bro. You get what I'm saying?
It does matter. I hear you, Breezy. And what I'm saying is it does matter because Justin Fields has played against closer to pro-style defenses.
He's played against he's played against other collegiate levels. A lot of guys that ain't even going to make it into
And
the
those
NFL.
in the collegiate levels that Fields has played against is closer to profile than what
Okay.
Lance has played against. That's all I'm saying. That's
All right.
all I'm saying.
But
That's
but
all.
the
I'm not saying this.
and
I'm not saying it's a gimme. I'm not
that's
saying that Lance is going to recover and bounce back. I don't know. He could be a
fair.
burnout.
That's fair, but now let's talk adversity, because if you're gonna bring that word in, that's what we're talking about. And so you don't know what quarterback. The only quarterback you know that can face adversity is Jimmy Garoppolo, because he throws 2 picks and then can throw 2 touchdowns. Like he seems
Breezy.
He's able to overcome adversity.
Let me
Not
ask you this
injuries,
question.
but adversity.
Let me ask you this question. The 49ers select Mac Jones at 3.
Okay.
Is Jimmy Garoppolo on this roster week 1?
I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo's on this roster week 1, no matter which quarterback we select. I've been saying that from day one, though.
Right.
So whether it's Trey Lance, Mike, whether it's Justin Fields, whether it's Sherman freaking Herbert, or whoever the hell name I make up, whoever the 49ers bring in here and draft at 3, I believe they're going to be starting. That's without OTAs. That's without whatever.
Right. And that's my point. So if you come in here with a guy who played against significantly lesser competition than pro-level defenses, he's probably going to be a little more shook than guys who have played.
That's what you're thinking, but you don't know that.
Mike,
was Carson Wentz shook when he started?
No, he wasn't.
Yes, Carson Wentz was shook. Right. Yes, he was.
When he first started?
Or after he got injured?
I agree with Breezy. I think it was after he got injured.
Y'all got
obviously he's gonna have his growing pains as a rookie, but he wasn't shook his rookie year.
He came in being able. I tell you what, them North Dakota State quarterbacks like Carson Wentz and not Justin Fields, Trey Lance, they're pretty smart quarterbacks. Like they come in understanding defenses and knowing what coverages to roll off. And I don't know if that's how they scout their quarterbacks coming into school, but they look for smart guys like that. And that's probably why they dominated that division and college football, because those quarterbacks are really smart. I don't remember Carson Wentz struggling. I don't know if it was his rookie season they went to the Super Bowl and he got hurt. But I believe it was. I could be wrong. Could have been his second year.
Year 2.
It was his
year 2.
Year 2.
Okay, but I don't think he struggled year 1 because
it was year 2.
He just had growing pains in year 1.
He had to get used to it, bro.
Okay, but most quarterbacks do, but they were decent enough in year 1.
Carson Wentz had almost a damn near MVP season his first year.
Damn. No.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't. Nick,
I thought that was I thought that was year 2, Nick.
That was a Super Bowl year before he got injured.
100% year 2. Nick, don't do that. Don't do that. That was year 2. Don't do that, bro. That was year 2. Don't do that, bro. That's a big difference. He had to get used to the speed of the NFL in year 2.
All right, let me look up Carson Wentz rookie
2019. What year did he start?
All right, y'all figure. I got to use the bathroom. I got to use the bathroom. Excuse me.
He had almost 4,000 yards with 16 touchdowns, 14 interceptions.
Not his rookie season, Nick. Not his rookie
16.
season. I know. I'm saying. Yeah.
He had almost 4,000 yards passing with 16 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Second year, he had less passing yards with 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions.
So
2018, he had less yards.
You could stop right there, bro, because you saw the progression, right? And so I get
from year 1 to year 2.
And I get what Mike is saying.
He had more passing yards, though.
I know.
In year 1 than year 2.
That's why I'm saying it was legit, bro. Like you expect.
He threw the ball a lot more in year 1, and that's where interceptions.
Let me ask you this: whichever quarterback it is, and I think Javi said it best. Like, what are your expectations for this quarterback that comes into that? Like, what is the goal for the quarterback that we draft if they start day 1? The goal is to win games, but how many games are you realistically looking for them to come out here and get the 49ers a victory? And that's why, to go back to your beginning question, Nick, when you asked a long time ago, I think it was you or somebody asked about did we make a mistake without drafting Patrick Mahomes and that? I mean, hindsight, like Mo said, I think we built the team to help carry the young guy, the young quarterback. And so if you can get a quarterback that could just be what he is, make plays, do things. I think that helps the 49ers.
That's where I was saying though it's different because you're putting Jimmy Garoppolo in that sentence, and Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't here at that time. We had Brian Hoyer here.
But I mean, he came.
So,
he was part of the regiment, like to get to that.
But I'm saying so. Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't even known for.
No, he wasn't. But
us going to be trading for, and Kirk Cousins was. We were hoping that he became a free agent. You don't pass on somebody to hope that you can get somebody. Like you don't know what the other team is going to do. So there's where I find fault in him because just like Javi and everybody else just said here. If that's your guy there, you go and get him.
But that wasn't
no matter
their guy.
Who it is, where it's at, pick number 2, pick number 257.
But that wasn't their guy.
Right, because he didn't go and do the due diligence of looking at him. That's what the problem was.
And so I had wanted to say something about somebody mentioned something about the general manager for the Chiefs, Veach, right? Veach, whatever his name is. And
Veachman or whatever. Veach.
Right. But our general manager is just as damn as good. For a guy with no experience, our general manager said, yo, go look at Patrick Mahomes. I think he's something worth looking at. He went to the pro day. He watched him throw. And then the Chiefs end up drafting him. And Kyle's stubborn self said, nah, because I believe in Kirk Cousins of the future, right? And so my question on that note is, I didn't get to ask it then, but my question on that note is more like, yo, why doesn't John Lynch have much pull in what's going on with Kyle Shanahan? Because if John is saying, yo, I got a guy, we could have had Patrick Mahomes, but we chose to pass on him for some future aspirations of a guy that Kyle knew could run his system. And so that we have that general manager. We don't need a guy like Veach. We got John Lynch. That's my point. We got a guy that is noticing talent.
Yeah. I mean, look, to each his own, and to agree with all of you, I think no matter who the quarterback is here, if they have to start day one, they're all going to struggle. And it's not because of talent. It's not because of, them coming in, because that's just the way that most rookie quarterbacks are. And to top it off, we're not in a regular football year. We're not going to be throwing the football to receivers. We're not going to be throwing and handing off and running the system as in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is going to be virtual. Everything's going to be virtual. So it's not even like we can go out and say, you can go out and have a catch with your receivers, but you're not running the offense. Here we go.
That's not accurate at all.
Okay.
We have seen multiple times where the NFL says, hey, off-season program workouts are shut down, and quarterbacks get their wide receivers together and they go and work on shit. I'm not letting that slide, bro.
Right. I said they can go and they can go and throw to receivers, but they are not running the offense with a running back, offensive lineman, doing defenses in
Nick,
person.
you really think they aren't running schemes and concepts of the offense if they're getting the team together?
They're 100% running
together.
If Trey Lance is the quarterback and he calls up Debo,
it doesn't matter
he
who
calls up Ayuk, and he calls up Kittle, and they go run routes.
Right.
Do you think that they're not going to share concepts of this offense with him to get him, catch him up to speed faster?
No, I understand that portion.
So they are going to be running the offense.
But I'm saying the defense on them, day in, day out, a defense running against them with an offensive line, which this offensive line is huge for this offense, and their blocking schemes, that matters. It still matters.
Bro.
Seven on 7 defense does not matter in the scheme of real-time football, 11 on 11 with pads on. It doesn't matter.
No,
it does not matter.
It does not matter. Mosley is 100% right.
Okay.
He's 100% right, Nick. You're wrong on this one, bro.
Okay.
It don't matter. They're going to go out there and they're going to run schemes.
That's why Debo picked it up so quick, right? That's why Debo picked it up so quick, because it doesn't matter.
They're going to go out there,
right?
They're going to go out there.
Debo was one case. Ayuk picked it up pretty quickly.
He's the only one that has picked up the offense that fast.
But then maybe they just have different learning curves, Nick. I mean,
that's different. We're not talking about a vanilla offense. We're not talking about something that you could just open up and read. and then be like,
Right.
oh, all right, I got it. I got
Right.
this in the bag.
Exactly.
Right.
That's why I said that it matters that they're not doing hands-on.
What we've been seeing for the
Exactly.
past couple
That's
of
exactly
seasons
what
is
I'm saying.
vanilla
Well, you
offense.
just proved my point. This is not a vanilla offense. There is so much more to this offense than a regular standard offense.
We've
There
said
is, but
movement,
if you're
as
but if
running
you're
backs,
working with
as
if you're
line.
working with players who've been in the system and who know it and who can give you tidbits in those meetings that aren't sanctioned, that is
Right.
going to help your learn. That's going to shorten your learning curve.
Yeah, exactly. Nick, you're wrong on this one, bro. Mosley's 100% right, bro. They're going to go out there and they're going to execute what is going to be happening on game day because those guys have experience in the system already.
Okay.
When whoever the quarterback is, I don't care if it's Mac Jones, when they call this and they say, hey, no practices, hey, come on, guys, let's meet in Kansas City. We're going to go out here and we're going to
Why
do
did
X, Y,
every single one of us last year say that this team started slow because no training camps, that we were not starting right because there was no mini camps,
Well,
no
that was
OTAs, and we
last
only
year-
had 3 weeks of training camps and less preseason games?
Last
So
year was
why
a
did
little-
we all say that?
But that
because
was every team.
that was last year was
Oh,
different.
we struggled, right?
But-
Because
but-
we weren't
no.
doing that. That's why
But
every team struggled last
But
year.
even the quarterbacks, couldn't get with the receivers, COVID. And,
They
and all-
did. They did.
Yeah, and with
They
Jimmy-
did. It's the same thing. They did.
It's not.
And that-
it's
that
not.
was-
And
That
our
was-
receivers struggled in the beginning of the year. Did or did they not? The
it could be-
quarterback
Well,
struggled. Day
No, they
one.
were also injured.
So
Debo
Jimmy Garoppolo-
broke his foot in one of those
and Brandon
meetups
Ayuk pulled his
Right,
in
hamstring.
Nashville.
But Jimmy
Exactly.
Garoppolo didn't struggle as the quarterback with this offense from day one, from play one.
But he didn't have his players.
That was on Jimmy, and he didn't have his players, like Breezy just
Right,
said.
that's what I'm talking about. Is on Jimmy. So why can't it be on the rookie quarterback?
I'm
Because
saying
we're
He
gonna
knows
have
the
those,
offense. He
Nick.
struggled.
What you're saying, Nick. What you're saying is not adding up, bro.
Okay,
They're gonna have
not
those
adding
guys out there.
All
They're,
right.
they're gonna have those guys out there, Nick. What you're saying doesn't add up.
Okay.
Right
And
now,
I mean, just
right
to add
now-
one more piece of it, Trey Lance already has a portion of the offense working with John Beck. Because in that
Exactly.
second bro day, Kyle wanted to see if Trey Lance could run his scheme,
And
could do
Exactly.
certain things within his scheme. So
Exactly.
he already has,
Yep.
bits and pieces of it that he's probably looking at right now and trying to, let me just focus on this. Because if I'm the pick at 3, I want to, as soon as my name is called, I want
dive
to
right
get to work.
in. Dive
I
right
want to
in.
get right to work. So he already
Exactly.
has bits and pieces of it. Once he gets with the players that have been in the system, especially guys like a Kittle, guys like Ayuk that really have grasped the system, you get
Kittle,
him with
Ayuk,
you get him with,
Mostert.
with Juice. We all
Yeah.
know Juice smart. He's Ivy.
Exactly. They're gonna tweak it to the
They're
way that
gonna
this young
they're
rookie
gonna help
quarterback
him.
has to go out there and play. They're gonna give it to him the way it's real. They're gonna give him real, bro.
So then, Mike, you need to recant on Trey Lance not being able to run this offense day one.
I don't need to recant on
Yes,
Trey
you do.
Lance
Yes,
because-
you do. It's
No,
the
I
same
don't.
exact thing.
No.
It is the
And
same
reason-
exact
and
thing.
The
It's
reason
the
I don't have to
same
recant.
exact thing.
The reason I don't have to recant is because Trey Lance has never in his entire career played against the level of defense that he's gonna play in the
It
NFL.
doesn't matter.
what-
It doesn't.
it does
Football
fuck-
is
it-
football,
Nick,
bro.
No,
Football
Nick,
is
so
football.
what are you talking about, Nick? I can go out here and teach my son Pop Warner right now. It's not NFL level, bro. It's not football. It's
No,
football.
yeah,
Don't
That's
you're
not
don't
how
right.
it
say
works,
don't
Nick.
don't
You
say
can't
Pop.
use
That's
Pop
not
Warner
how
as
it works, bro.
NFL.
What are you
It's the
talking
same, bro.
about?
You can't say Pop Warner, Mike, but say like
What are you
Arena
talk-
League football
No,
or
because
something like that.
Nick is making it sound like no. Nick is making it sound like football is football. That's not
No.
how it works, bro.
But Mike, is it different? Is it different per position?
Right,
No.
because how
No.
Okay,
Right, so
okay,
football
good,
is football.
Perfect.
No, it's
if it's
not.
not if it's not different per
so how the
position,
fuck did Antonio Brown
did Jerry Rice play against NFL competition in college?
Hell no.
No.
No, he
Absolutely
did not.
No.
And neither did Antonio Brown. And so now
No,
let's-
he did not.
Let's
Did
Y'all ready?
talk.
Josh Allen
Y'all
play
ready?
against
Whoa,
NFL
whoa, whoa,
No,
competition?
because he went to
Time out.
Wyoming.
Y'all can't
Nope.
just keep running. No, y'all can't just keep going because Jerry Rice had pro level players saying, "Hey, this is what we're about to go against."
Oh,
Ask
come
Jerry
on,
Rice.
bro.
No,
That's
don't.
not
Oh,
fair.
come
No,
on,
you
dude.
can't
No.
do that, Mike.
You changing the
y'all-
narrative, bro.
Hey,
All he asked,
Mike,
asked
you
it,
can't do
bro.
that, bro.
He asked it
Who-
that other positions count according to you.
Who
What you
was-
said? You said no.
Who was on the team first, John Taylor or Jerry Rice?
I'm done, man. I'm done. Yeah,
Who was on the team first, John Taylor or Jerry Rice?
I'm done.
Mike, what does that have to do?
Now
We're
y'all
talking
don't want to
about.
answer the question.
But we're
Now it's
we're
Because I
talking
don't
about.
like where are you going
We're
with
talking
this?
about what Nick said, that football is football and players are players. And
If you're great, you're
that's
great.
not how it
this
works.
is a concept known in the NFL. If you can play, we will find you.
What does every quarterback say? What does every quarterback say?
Hey,
Football
who was
is
Jerry
football.
Rice?
It's terminology and the way that it's used that makes things different.
Who was Jerry
Every
Rice's
team has
quarterback?
11 people on a defense,
Jerry Rice's
and
quarterback
every
his
team
rookie
has
season?
11 defense on or players on the offense.
I see
Football
where Mike
is football.
going with this. I see where
Who
Mike
was
is
Jerry
going with
Rice's quarterback his rookie season?
But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking
No,
about coming
answer
out
the-
of college.
Just
Right?
answer the question. Who was Jerry Rice's quarterback his rookie season?
So Montana made him who he is?
Can you answer the question?
It was Joe Montana.
Oh, was Joe Montana a rookie or was he already in the NFL?
So
answer the question, bro.
And so an established quarterback made Jerry Rice
answer
who he
the
was.
Question, bro.
It wasn't his skill set. It wasn't his work ethic.
So nobody wants to answer the question, right?
He's answering.
No, he wasn't a rookie. He wasn't a rookie.
Who was Jerry Rice's quarterback his rookie season?
We've already said this.
Joe Montana.
Joe Montana.
And he was not a rookie quarterback.
So
he was not
Joe
a rookie
Montana,
quarterback.
So was Joe Montana getting Jerry Rice for? Was he getting Jerry Rice ready for NFL defenses, or was he getting Jerry Rice ready for college defenses?
Bro, your routes as a receiver are the
Answer
same
the
routes
question,
against
bro.
whatever is lining up against you.
He was getting him ready for NFL defenses.
Okay, then. So you can't sit here and say, "Oh, it's just whatever. It's whatever." That's not how it works, because Jerry Rice came into a system with an NFL-ready quarterback. Okay, and that NFL-ready quarterback told Jerry, "Hey, what you were doing over there is not quite enough. You got to step it up on this league."
Okay, so Trey Lance is coming into the league with NFL-ready running backs, NFL-ready tight end, NFL-ready offensive line, NFL-ready wide receivers, and an NFL-ready defense. How is that different?
And this is how it's different, because the guy throwing the ball was not ready for the NFL level. That's the difference, because Trey Lance is the guy throwing the ball. You can't sit here and say.
That's why I asked you, is it different per position? So Jerry Rice was ready for NFL level coming out of the conference that he played in.
No,
where he
was not. Jerry Rice was not ready. Jerry Rice was not ready for pro level competition when he came out as a rookie. He needed pro level players to get him ready for pro level football.
So it's possible. So what you're saying is it's possible.
Not for the quarterback position, because that's where everything. Listen to me.
That's why I asked you, is it different per position?
Okay, so listen to what I'm saying. If everybody on the team is ready for pro level style defenses, right, and the quarterback is not ready, it does not matter what anybody else on that offense is ready to do. Because if the quarterback isn't ready to step it up to pro level style defense, then it does not matter. It don't matter, bro. The quarterback is the most important position on the field. And you can ask Eric Crocker, you can ask any pro that you know, Greg Cosell, if the quarterback's not ready, he's going to hold the entire offense back. And anybody on this panel who says otherwise, you're fucking lying. Anybody on this panel who says otherwise, you are full of shit, bro. The quarterback has to be ready at the pro level to take the team to the next level. Anybody on this panel who says otherwise, you're full of shit. You are full of shit. And right now we are drafting a quarterback. And if that quarterback can't do it, and it's too big, it's too big of a step. It's too big of a step.
First of all, I'm not full of shit. Second of all, what I'm saying right now is he's a fucking prospect to go to the NFL. And if he's a prospect to go to the NFL, he's ready. If he wasn't a prospect, he wouldn't be ready. If he wasn't ready to come out. I think the 49ers situation for a guy like Trey Lance, a guy like Justin Fields, they're going to be fine in this offense. I just think they are. They have pro-level players to help them get ready. Same thing with Mac Jones. You just said Mac Jones was only good because he had pro-level players on a collegiate level. You just said that. You said he was not trash, but you said he was better because he had better.
I said, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I said Mac Jones had 5 first round. I said Mac Jones had 5 first round wide receivers catching passes from him.
He damn sure did for the past 2 seasons. And so now you're talking about a quarterback coming to the 49ers.
How many?
Which is probably Mike the best.
But Breezy.
But hear me out, bro. hear me out about the 49ers, bro. They're the best situation for any rookie quarterback, bro. They're the best situation.
You ready? You ready? All right. Now here's my rebuttal to what you just said. Okay. How many pro level wide receivers did Trey Lance have catching passes from him?
We had 0.
That's my point.
But he's going to have him when it comes to
that makes his numbers more impressive.
That makes no, it doesn't. No,
Yes,
it doesn't.
does, Mike. He had players dropping 50-yard wide open passes for touchdowns. Sound like
it doesn't, bro, because that listen to me, bro. The reason why I say it doesn't is because now he has to come to a level that's 2 steps ahead of where he was, not 1 step ahead of where he was. Now he's got to come 2 steps ahead of where he was without the same level of competition, bro. He's playing against DBs. Can I finish my thought?
Yeah.
Just hear what I'm saying, bro. He's playing against DBs and defensive coordinators that are 2-3 steps ahead of where he was playing before.
Mm-hmm.
So the game is going to be a lot harder for him. I'm not saying he can't do it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Trey Lance isn't the guy. What I'm saying is if we keep Trey Lance, if he's the pick, Jimmy has to be here because Trey has a lot of catching up to do. He hasn't played football in over a year, bro. We got to be real with what we're talking. I'm not saying he's not the guy. Don't get me wrong. I want Trey Lance. I want Trey Lance and Fields. I want to make it very, very clear here.
That's fair, though.
I want one of those 2 guys. What I'm saying is the learning curve is very, very different from Trey Lance to Justin Fields because they've played against a closer type of NFL defense. That's all I'm saying. And to say anything different, and to say anything different, you're fooling yourselves. That's all I'm saying. If you sit here and say it don't matter the level of competition, you are not being honest with yourself. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he can't do it.
It's so when I say that it doesn't matter because of the level of competition, I mean, obviously he's in a weaker division of NCAA football. And so he is in a division where he goes and he can dominate. But we're talking about a player that still has skill sets to dominate. And so we don't know if he would have went to University of Minnesota or whatever at the quarterback, what he would have become. But we do know he's faced adversity, Mike. And so when you bet on yourself, Mike, I'm sorry, man. Those guys, 9 times out of 10, think of every fucking rapper you love that bet on themselves to get into the game. DMX, all these different rappers that had to go out there and take it. I just feel like he has that gene or that gift. He's going to go out there and make doubters into believers. And I feel like you can't bet against those guys. That does not mean that he probably shouldn't sit. It does not mean any of that stuff. I think, like Nick said 18 years ago, the perfect scenario for any rookie quarterback is to come in and sit to learn the game. Maybe let it catch up to you and all that type of stuff.
You use rappers as an example, and you named DMX specifically.
Yeah.
Do you know the producers and labels DMX met with, and they told him no?
Sure, go ahead, tell us. No, I don't. I'm gonna say I don't, so you could tell us.
He met with Puff and Bad Boy.
Yep.
Puff said you're too aggressive. You're not marketable.
Already know.
Right?
Go ahead. Yep.
He met with Dr. Dre and Interscope.
Yep.
Dre said, "Hey man, I can't figure this out. Like you got to get softer." X said, "Hey man, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, dog. This is me." Right? Dre said, "Hey, I can't do it." It took another guy from right where he was in Yonkers. It was D. D met with DMX. It was D. D said, "Hey, you know what? I don't care if it don't work. You the best shot I got to get out of here. I'm gonna try to make it work." DNY put everything they had behind DMX. They went and got the locks. They went and got Drag On. And you know what happened? They took the locks and put them out before DMX.
Yep.
Before DMX. DMX had to vouch for those guys and said, "Hey, they got it." And they went and did it, right? And here's my point with all of that. DMX wasn't ready. He wasn't ready when the time came to start. He wasn't. Listen to me. I want you to hear what I'm saying, bro. Because I know you're the music guy. DMX was turned down. DMX was turned back. He was turned down by Interscope. He was turned down by Bad Boy because they said we can't market this hardcore, gritty style that you have, because that's not what the industry is ready for, right?
you can't.
So Rough Riders came out, and Rough Riders said, "Hey, we got the locks," okay? And then they took the locks and they took them to Bad Boy, and they said, "Hey, we can market these guys. Let's see if we can turn it into something else." There's no in between. Right now, there is no Bad Boy to step in between. Right now, it's the locks trying to go from Yonkers in the hood in the projects straight to Bad Boy. Okay, not Bad Boy, to Rough Riders, and it didn't work. What they had to do was go to Bad Boy first, and then they had to perfect their craft, they had to perfect their style, and then after they put out an album on Bad Boy, they bought out the rights, and they said, "All right, now you on Rough Riders." That's what happened. It was a step in between. I don't know if Trey Lance has a luxury of that step in between. We haven't seen it, bro. DMX said, "I'm gonna be true to myself, and when they say that I'm ready, I'm gonna go." That's the difference right there. That's the difference, bro. You brought up the music metaphor, and I'm just riding with that.
I brought
DMX
up the
was
music
so hard.
metaphor. You can't say that he wasn't ready. You can say the game wasn't ready for DMX. I think the NFL is not ready for Trey Lance. And I think there's teams that are going to be ready, and there's going to be 31 other teams that's going to pass on him. Just like Bad Boy's dumbass passed on him, just like Interscope's dumbass passed on him. And so what I'm trying to say is they weren't ready. You should never have to conform to be who you are in this world. That's what's fucked up about the world, and that's why people doing fucked up shit. So I'm going to keep it a buck with you. DMX was ready. They weren't ready. Trey Lance is ready. You keep doubting him. Wherever he goes, he's going to fuck you up. I got to go, guys. I'm out. Peace.
Breezy left.
He left on a mic drop.
Let me tell y'all, that was a hell of a mic drop, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because Breezy was 100% right with what he said. Breezy was 100% right with what he said. DMX said, "I'm not gonna conform. I'm not gonna change. I'm not putting on shiny suits. I'm not gonna soften my tone. I'm not gonna change the way I rap. I'm not gonna change the content of what I rap about. I'm gonna give you me 100%." And there were so many labels. Not only did we talk about Bad Boy, not only did we talk about Interscope, he also met with Suge Knight. Okay, he also went over to the West Coast and met with Suge Knight and Death Row, and they said, "We can't do this because the league is not ready." Okay, and Breezy's 100% right. That could, for all intents and purposes, that could be Trey Lance. 100% that could be Trey Lance. He's got to stay true to himself, and he has to go to a team that's willing to work with what he brings to the table. Okay, what I'm saying is, I don't know if Kyle Shanahan is ready to do that, and if he's not, Kyle's gonna need Jimmy to stay here. Okay, what I asked the panel before Breezy dropped off was, if we draft the guy at 3, is Jimmy still here? All of y'all said that Jimmy is not going to be sticking around. Sorry. You're good. All of y'all said that Jimmy's not going to be sticking around if we draft a quarterback at 3. He's out of here. Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I think it depends on who the pick is.
But that furthers my point. That furthers my point. If it's somebody that we think is ready to take the step right away, we can move on from Jimmy. If it's somebody that we don't think is ready, then we got to stick with Jimmy for a little bit and get that guy ready. DMX was not willing to compromise who he was. So DMX said, "Hey, go ahead and put out the locks." You know what I'm saying? That's what DMX did. We don't know if we have that luxury right now. That's exactly my point. That is 100% my point. I don't know that Kyle Shanahan is willing to compromise the genius that is Kyle Shanahan for a guy who may not be ready. I'm not saying it won't work. I'm saying I don't know that Kyle's ready to do that. But if you get Fields,
what if his ego is telling him that he can get him ready? And we know Kyle and his ego. What if Kyle ego says, "I'll get that kid ready"?
So what you're saying is Kyle is either Rough Riders or Kyle's either Interscope. He's either going to say yes or he's either going to say no. And either way, all of us that were on this panel tonight, we're going to ride with it. And we're going to say, let's get it done. Everybody's going to be rooting for it. Everybody's going to be rooting for it. I'm just saying I don't know if that's the right answer. That's all I'm saying. And I want us to acknowledge that. I'm not saying that Lance can't do it. Be clear with what my message is. I'm not saying Lance can't do it. I'm saying be ready. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, bro. DMX was not Bad Boy. DMX was not Interscope. DMX was not Death Row. DMX was Rough Riders. Bro, the first word in their record label was rough, and that's DMX. You know, his voice was rough. It was a whole different brand than the industry had ever seen before. It was a whole different brand. That's all I'm saying. And we got to be prepared for that. That's all I'm saying, bro. So if we're prepared for it, then cool. If Kyle's ready to do that, then cool. I have never seen Kyle say that I'm willing to transform my entire offensive scheme for one player. I just haven't seen it. In all the years of Kyle Shanahan being in the NFL as a coordinator, as a quarterback's coach, as X, Y, and Z, I've never seen him say I'm ready to transform everything for one guy.
So then why would you think it's Trey Lance or Justin Fields then? Because that's changing his entire offense for one guy.
No, because Justin Fields can step in and be the mace. Justin Fields can come in.
But it's still changing the offense.
No, because Justin Fields can come in and be Mace. Justin Fields can come in and be Tupac. Justin Fields can come in and be Dr. Dre. What Trey Lance can't do.
Justin Fields is coming in as Justin Fields, and it's still changing the concept of the offense for one guy.
No, because
so you're going to keep the
Fields
offense completely the same as you do with Jimmy Garoppolo with Justin Fields.
Nick, listen to me. Because Justin Fields is a pass-first quarterback, right or wrong? Just tell me if you agree. Is Justin Fields a pass-first quarterback or not?
Justin Fields will try to make the big play before running, yes. But he will also run RPOs. He will also run the football.
No. Yes, I'm not saying he can't do other things, but is he a pass-first quarterback? The answer is yes, right? Y'all agree with that?
Because he's more
Justin
of a
Fields
quarterback.
is a pass-first quarterback.
Yeah.
So Justin Fields is going to conform to what the system calls for. DMX was not going to conform to the system. DMX said, fuck the system, market me. That's the difference. Just like Breezy said, Trey Lance is the DMX of this. You have to put him in the right system where the quarterback and the offensive coordinator is going to say, hey, fuck the system. Let's make it work with this guy. I don't know if Kyle is that guy to do that. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm saying that we have to temper our expectations for if Trey Lance is the pick. That's all I'm saying, guys. That's all I'm saying.
You don't have
we
to
have
tell
to
me
acknowledge
anything. I've felt the same way, as in I'm okay with Trey Lance or Justin Fields, but I'm more so okay with Justin Fields. You don't have to explain me on that.
Right.
And I think
that
I still, and all I was saying was that I think that this offseason, if Jimmy Garoppolo is not here and whatever quarterback it is that has to step in will struggle to learn this offense at first. They will struggle, all of them, whoever it is.
Yeah, that's my point. But you know, Nick, that Justin Fields can pick up this offense faster than Trey Lance, right or wrong?
I mean, I would think that.
Nick,
I would think that. I would say 90% chance that there's a better chance of Justin Fields doing that. But I'm not going to judge a character and the brain and the smarts of a guy that I don't know. But I will say,
but you answer my question.
I will say, for my perspective, playing at Ohio State and playing in the Big Ten compared to playing at North Dakota State and against the competition that they are, my guess, I would put my money on Justin Fields learning the offense faster than I would Trey Lance. But that's not saying.
But that's been my point the entire time. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying that the safer bet is somebody other than Trey Lance. That's all I said. That's all my point has been all along. That's it. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm saying that the safer pick is Justin Fields, not Trey Lance. That's all I said. That's all I've been saying. And DMX, by the way, is my favorite rapper of all time. So I'm not discounting what he did. Nick will tell you, Breezy will tell you, when they did the DMX versus Snoop Dogg thing, I was Team X. Breezy will tell you that if he came back on the show. X is my favorite rapper. But I know that X went against the grain. He said, I'm not conforming. I don't know that Kyle Shanahan is ready to pick up somebody who is not going to conform to what his system calls for. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm just saying that this is what he wants. That's all I'm saying. That's it. I'm done. I'm ready to go home.
Yeah, it's 2:38 we've been on here for. So this was a good show, man. I really enjoyed linking up with Javi. the Fantasy Football Show, RSF 49ers.
Raj.
Guys, what Mose knows. Mose, before we get out of here, let everybody know where they can find you at your new channel, and then we will, wrap it up and go from there.
Yeah, channel is I'm on YouTube. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter, all the same thing. What.mose.knows. Again, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. You can find me on all those platforms, talking everything NFL.
And then tomorrow you're going to be doing a mock draft with me at 3 p.m.
Yes, sir.
Spilling the beans. 3 p.m. sharp. So make sure you guys tune into that. Mike, stop sipping over there, bud. I hope you're not driving anywhere. But
No, bro. I haven't had a drink in 20 minutes. What you talking about? I'm sober.
20 minutes.
He said,
no, that's real rap.
So it's all good.
That's real rap. I finished my drink 35 minutes.
Is it 20 minutes or 35 minutes?
No. You said 20. I said
I didn't say
I haven't had a drink.
I said don't. Yeah, I said don't sip up anymore.
I finished my drink 35 minutes ago.
All right. Well, anyway, guys, man, we appreciate you guys jumping in on here, man. We had a fire Instagram today, 2 fire Instagram lives, and a YouTube show for you guys on a Sunday night, right? Sunday night? What night is it?
It's Sunday.
Sunday
night, right? Yeah, Sunday night.
He told me to stop drinking. He don't know what night of the week it is.
Bro,
holy shit.
I'm still out of work, so days just run into days for me.
Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby.
Guys, look, 4 days. We got an hour till 3 days to the NFL draft. Mose will be doing a show as well for all things football. He'll have, I think you're going to have a participant for each team on, right, for their pick?
Yeah, so I'm doing a live show round 1 Thursday night of the draft. I'm going to have a fan or more from every team picking in the first round. So we'll have a fan on talking about, what they think the team is going to do, what they want to do. We'll have them give a reaction once the pick is announced, and then we'll drop that fan off, bring the next fan in, and we'll do that for the whole first round.
Yeah. So, guys, make sure you guys go over there and follow him on all his social media platforms. Mike, get home safe. Text me when you get there, bud. And then let's see. Just last thing real quick. The picks for me is Wilson, Fields, or Lance. Kyle needs to expand the offense. Fields, to me, should 100% be the pick. I'll shoot something if it's Mac. So don't shoot anybody. You can shoot something. Just don't shoot anybody. But, guys, that's pretty much all we got for you tonight, man. Thanks for tuning in. 354 in here, still strong. Almost a 3-hour stream. So I appreciate you guys sticking around. Much love to Javier, 4th and Goal Podcast, RSF 49ers, What Mose Knows, the Fantasy Football Show, Croc Talk TV, Gritty Niners, Nothing But Niners.
Our 49ers channel on Instagram, yeah.
So we got everybody, man. We appreciate all you guys showing all the love and support, and that's pretty much all I got, man. Anticipate pain. Yes, I said the football fan show, yeah.
All right,
so
go ahead.
Prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain.
But always remain faithful.
We out of here. Peace.